Chapter 566. Roar. The long-arm ape king fiercely slapped its chest with its huge and sharp claws. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and let out an ear-piercing roar that could shatter a huge rock. Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Ikaros, Flanderchan, Astria, Kinuhada Sai, Frenda, Takitsubu Riku, Sylph, Feifei, Bingling, Bishi and the others who weren't affected by the long-arm ape king's roar were stunned. The long-arm ape king made its move. The long-arm ape king stomped on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. The long-arm ape king propelled itself forward like a cannonball. It appeared in front of Wu Yan in the blink of an eye. Despite its size, its speed was insanely fast. The long-arm ape king clenched its claws and the muscles on its body started to wriggle. It expanded several times until it was as big as a table. The long-arm ape king swung its claws at Wu Yan's heart. The long-arm ape king was determined to kill. Wu Yan was shocked by the speed and agility he displayed. He calmed down and hugged Flanderchan, who was the closest to him. Then, he retreated in a flash. Ikaros hugged Shokuhu Misaki and Astria hugged Takitsubu Riku. Both of them flew into the air. Chuju, Mikoto, Kinuhada Sai and Frenda dodged the long-arm ape king's attack. Sylph and the other three wisely chose to retreat as well. The crowd in front of the long-arm ape king dispersed. Wu Yan appeared behind the long-arm ape king. Ikaros, Astria, Shokuhu Misaki and Takitsubu Riku also arrived. The girls gathered around the long-arm ape king. "You guys stay here." Wu Yan looked at the long-arm ape king and said to Shokuhu Misaki and the others. He passed Flanderchan to her. "Take care of Flanderchan." Wu Yan's wine-red eyes turned golden as he charged forward. Ikaros, Astria, and Mikoto followed behind him as they charged at the ape king. Yen. Chuju grabbed White Cherry and was about to charge forward when Shokuhu Misaki stopped her. Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan and the others and said, "The opponent this time isn't something we can interfere with." Startled, Hinajuku lowered her head with a look of unwillingness. But in the end, she returned to her original spot and crouched down to hug Flanderchan tightly. Seeing this, Shokuhu Misaki sighed. How could she be willing to accept this? She believed that Kinuhada Sai, Frenda, and the others were just as unwilling as she was. They couldn't fight alongside him. Of course, the girls didn't keep their unwillingness for long. They knew their situation and they believed that one day, they would be able to fight alongside Wu Yan on the front lines. However, just because Chuju and the others understood, Feifei and the others didn't. Yen. Feifei shouted when she saw Wu Yan, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria charging at the long-arm ape king. She thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. "Come back." Feifei's heart was about to jump out. That was a magical beast of the 9th rank. Where did they get the courage to challenge a magical beast of the 9th rank? Don't they know that the higher the tier, the greater the gap between them? If the gap between Tier 7 and Tier 8 is separated by a stream, then the gap between Tier 8 and Tier 9 is separated by a yellow river. Feifei wouldn't believe that Wu Yan can challenge a tier above him again. The situation this time is completely different from the last time. Back then, Wu Yan was level 69, the peak of Tier 7. Jaffer was only level 70, the gap between them wasn't that big. But this time, even if the long-arm ape king just reached Tier 9, Wu Yan just reached Tier 8. Even with Ikaros, Astria, and Mikoto's help, he won't be a match for the long-arm ape king. That's why Tier 9 demonic beasts are so rare. In Feifei's eyes, Wu Yan is going to die. That's why she's going crazy. Bingling and Bishi aren't close to Wu Yan but they're his companions. Sylph is the only one who's staring ahead. Her icy blue eyes are fluctuating, no one knows what she's thinking. Regardless, Wu Yan and the others are already in front of the long-arm ape king. A battle is inevitable. Crimson spatial ripples appeared behind him as Nietono no Shana slowly appeared. Wu Yan held it tightly in his hand. He didn't feel any fear just because his opponent is a Tier 9. In fact, his golden eyes showed a hint of eagerness. Wu Yan knows how strong a Tier 9 demonic beast is. The memory of Flanderchan blowing him up twice was still fresh in his mind. That's why Wu Yan wants to test his strength. He has Flanderchan's support so he won't die. What's the harm in giving it a try? Flashing through the air, Wu Yan, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria landed in the four directions of the Ape King. They surrounded the Ape King in the center and sealed off its escape route. The lightsaber in Astria's hand vibrated as she levitated into the air. Due to entering combat mode, Astria's hair swelled up a little. Her innocent face gained a hint of majesty. She looked down at the long-arm Ape King with a serious expression. She channeled energy into her lightsaber and started vibrating violently. The blade of the lightsaber started vibrating rapidly. Even the long-arm Ape King wouldn't be able to escape unscathed if it was hit by the lightsaber. The long-arm Ape King seemed to have sensed something brewing in the air. Its hair stood on end. It roared with a ferocious expression. It stomped on the ground and its gigantic body soared into the sky. It appeared in front of Astria in an instant. Its blood-red eyes were filled with murderous intent. It swiped its sharp claws at Astria's head. Even if Astria was an angel, she would at least be stained with blood if she gets hit. Astria flapped her wings and shot out. She flapped her wings again and dodged the long-arm Ape King's attack. She rose a little higher. The lightsaber in her hand vibrated violently. The lightsaber let out a crisp sound of abrasion. Ha! Astria shouted coldly. Everyone felt the wind in the forest solidifying. Then, a strong gust of wind gathered in the air. It tore through the air. The sharp sound of wind breaking echoed in everyone's ears. Astria brought out her full strength. The lightsaber arrived in front of the long-arm Ape King. Unlike Astria, the long-arm Ape King didn't have the ability to fly. It could only use its palm to block the lightsaber. The light sword and the palm violently collided. The sky rumbled and the long-handed Ape King immediately fell. The moment it landed, the long-handed Ape King adjusted its body. Just like at the beginning, it stomped on the ground like a cannonball, creating a huge hole. Numerous arm-thick cracks spread out in all directions and finally extended into the forest. In mid-air, Astria was sent flying by the collision with the long-arm Ape King. She managed to stabilize herself but her delicate face was pale. It was a stark contrast to the lively long-arm Ape King on the ground. It was obvious that Astria was at a disadvantage even though she used all of her strength in that clash. Astria was still in the air while the long-arm Ape King was flying. The long-arm Ape King's attack was weakened. If it wasn't for that, Astria would have suffered greater damage. Chapter 567. Astria. Wu Yan and Mikoto gasped when they saw Astria in midair. They glared at the Ape King and lightning crackled around them. Two blue and white lightning bolts shot towards the Ape King. The Ape King didn't have enough time to react due to the fact that it just landed on the ground and got caught in the middle of the lightning bolts. Roar! The electric current hit the Ape King's body, charring its golden fur a little, but it didn't cause any damage to the Ape King at all. However, the Ape King seemed to be very angry that it was hit by this attack that didn't hurt it at all. It immediately roared and pushed its hands, breaking the electric light on its body. Turning into a ray of golden light, the long-arm Ape King shot towards Wu Yan. Due to the speed of the long-arm Ape King, the ground beneath its feet was left with a deep trench. Hinajaku and the others who were watching from afar could only see the ground being cut open by the long-arm Ape King before they saw nothing else. Wu Yan clenched his fist as he watched the Ape King charge at him. Red lotus flames ignited on his blade and enveloped Wu Yan in an instant. Wu Yan turned into a man of fire. The long-arm Ape King raised its claw. It was waiting for Wu Yan to reach him so it can attack him with all its might. However, Wu Yan enveloped himself in flames. The long-arm Ape King hesitated. After all, it's sending its claw into flames. After reaching the 9th rank, the long-handed Ape King's intellect had already gained the ability to think. Putting one's hand into the fire was something anyone would subconsciously hesitate to do. The long-handed Ape King also had this kind of consciousness. However, when it saw the corpses of its disciples, its hesitation turned into anger. It no longer cared about anything else and slammed its palm onto the flames, sending the figure in the flames flying. Yen. Mikoto was shocked. She immediately took out a coin and flicked it into the air. Electricity flowed from her body to her hand and formed a white light between her fingers. When the coin landed between her fingers, a crisp sound was heard. An orange light shot out from her hand and landed on the Ape King's body. Boom! The railgun collided with the Ape King at 0 distance and exploded into a cloud of dust. In midair, Ikaros's eyes lit up and her wings opened wide. Countless pink beams shot out and landed on the Ape King in the cloud of dust. Boom boom boom. The continuous bombardment landed on the body of the long-armed Ape King, causing it to cry out in pain as it retreated backwards. Feeling the pain coming from its body, the long-armed Ape King was furious. It waved its hand to disperse the smoke and dust around it. Then, it faced the cherry-colored missile that was flying towards it, and lashed out twice. Bam 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 bam. It waved its hands and destroyed all the cherry-colored missiles. The long-armed Ape King raised its head and roared. It smashed the ground with one hand and grabbed a rock bigger than its body with the other hand and threw it at Ikaros. Ikaros's expression didn't change at all. Aegis was deployed in an instant and the shield blocked the normal projectile without any suspense. When the rock hit the shield, it shattered on its own. This was to be expected. How could normal rock compare to Aegis in terms of hardness? But after the rock shattered, Ikaros' expression changed. Her field of vision was blocked by a black figure that appeared behind the rock. Roar! The long-armed Ape King did not show any mercy just because his opponent was a beautiful girl. He clenched his fist and unleashed all of his physical strength onto the Aegis, Absolute Defense Circle. The Aegis, Absolute Defense Circle, only lasted for a short while before it crumbled under the Ape King's terrifying strength. The Ape Clan, which had abandoned magic and focused on improving their physical strength, could be said to have the strongest body among all the magical beasts. Even if their attacks were monotonous, the effect was still outstanding. The destruction of Aegis exposed Ikaros in front of the Ape King. The Ape King stared at Ikaros coldly. It raised its other hand and punched towards Ikaros' head. The wind from the punch was like thunder. If this hit lands, the most ideal outcome would be losing the ability to fight. Just as Ikaros was about to be hit by this terrifying punch, a bolt of lightning came down from the sky with a speed faster than light. It came down from the clouds and went straight for the Ape King. This is Mikoto's strongest move. Lightning Fall. Facing the Ape King, Mikoto is no longer holding back like before. It didn't take long before she used her strongest move. Lightning Fall that has been brewing for a long time flew across the sky. Just as the Ape King's fist was about to land on Ikaros' head, it successfully caught up. At the same time, on the ground, a fiery red beam of fire shot towards the Ape King in the air at a speed not inferior to the falling thunder. It formed a pincer attack with the falling thunder, attacking the Ape King from above and below. Extreme Impact, Small Flame. Lightning Strike and Extreme Impact, Small Flame simultaneously hit the Ape King's body. The Ape King didn't seem to have expected this result. It was blown away, and fell to the ground with a cloud of smoke. What fell with it was the cherry blossom-colored missiles that covered the sky and the earth. Artemis, boom 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 boom. One cherry-colored missile after another ferociously bombarded the body of the Ape King before it could even land on the ground. The force of the bombardment pushed the Ape King down. The barrage of attacks made Wu Yen, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria gasp for air. However, they didn't stop there. Even Astria, who is the least intelligent of the lot, felt that the barrage of attacks just now wasn't enough to injure the Ape King, let alone Wu Yen and company abandoning magic and focusing on physical prowess. The Ape King's physical prowess can only be described as terrifying. Wu Yen and Co. had the advantage of teamwork and coordination. They took advantage of the Ape King's weakness of not being able to fly or use ranged attacks. However, if they want to take down the Ape King with this amount of strength, it's a pipe dream. The next moment, crimson spatial ripples erupted behind Wu Yan as countless iron sand cannons appeared. Lightning flashed within the cannons as they emitted a terrifying light. Ikaros took out a ferocious-looking black longbow, and with a pull of her slender hand, an arrow burning with dark purple flames appeared in her hand. Astria's lightsaber increased in size until it became a gigantic sword that reached the sky. Mikoto's body flashed with lightning that never wavered. Extreme Impact, Apollon, Chrysor, Super Vibrophoton Blade, lightning, beams of bluish-white light shot out from the iron sand cannon inside the gate of Babylon. Ikaros also released arrows burning with dark purple flame. Together with the lightning and greatsword falling from the sky, they all landed on the spot where the smoke came from under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone not far away. The sky seemed to have stopped for a second. Then, boom! Chapter 568. Extreme Impact, Apollo, Super Vibrophoton Blade, and Thunderfall. Just one of these 4 attacks was enough to cause the world to collapse, but at this moment, they all smashed into the ground at the same time. The unparalleled destructive power directly turned the surrounding terrain upside down, and the frenzied shockwave spread in all directions. Together with the roar that resounded through the sky, everything in the area was leveled. The shockwave couldn't be avoided as it swept towards Hinajuku and the rest. The shockwave of the shockwave swept towards them like a tidal wave. Everyone was shocked, as their backs were drenched in sweat. "What are you all waiting for?" Feifei couldn't help but scold. "Magi, set up the defense." Upon hearing that, the expedition party finally realized that it was not the time to be afraid. The magicians took out their armaments and started chanting. Even Sylph took out her gold armament and joined in the defense. Sylph and the other magicians managed to make it in time. They hurriedly chanted an incantation and a barrier of light appeared in front of them, blocking the impact of the shockwave. Crack, crack, crack. When the shockwaves hit the light curtain actually lasted for less than 10 seconds before shattering like glass. Cracks spread on the light curtain, causing the members of the elite exploration team to be terrified. It's just the shockwave from the shockwave and it's on the verge of collapsing. Even if the barrier was hastily set up, it's still a barrier created by nearly 40 magi and Sylph. The expedition party didn't even dare to imagine what kind of damage the Ape King received from the shockwave. Fortunately, the shockwave passed just as the barrier was about to break. The shockwave calmed down and the surroundings quieted down. The expedition party looked at the center of the battlefield in shock. Many of them were stunned by what they saw. Within the range of the naked eye, everything had been razed to the ground. Smoke and dust drifted along with the wind to every corner of the flat ground. The ground had completely turned into a dry wasteland. The surrounding area was filled with cracks and no weeds grew. Everyone could only vaguely see that in the distance, there seemed to be some green trees that were not affected. At the center of the wasteland, there's a huge crater with a radius of at least 100 meters. The dust and debris here is the thickest in the entire wasteland. Almost everything inside the crater is covered by the dust. No one can see what's inside. Wu Yan, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria are floating above the crater. The members of the expedition team looked at each other and gulped. Their eyes were filled with respect as they looked at the 4 people floating in the air. At this moment, they finally understood that the legends of Silveria World Institute weren't exaggerated at all. In fact, they were even calmer than the legends they heard from Silveria World Institute. For Tier 8 powerhouses fighting a Tier 9 powerhouse to this extent. This is definitely a historical event. For peak Tier 6 powerhouses might be able to win against a beginner Tier 7 powerhouse. For peak Tier 7 powerhouses might be able to tie with a beginner Tier 8 powerhouse. However, for peak Tier 8 powerhouses would have no choice but to run for their lives if they were to fight a beginner Tier 9 powerhouse. Otherwise, why would challenging someone of a higher level be considered impossible in Silveria? Right now, Wu Yan and the other 3 aren't fighting against someone of a higher tier. They're just teaming up to surround the enemy. However, to be able to fight to this extent is enough to make any Tier 8 powerhouse proud. If the members of the elite exploration team knew that the 4 people floating in the air, other than one of them, were not at the peak of the 8th rank, who knows what they would think? Is he defeated? Kinuhata Sai panted as she asked the people around her. She forgot to add in her catchphrase. It's easy to imagine how shocked she is right now. Chuju and Shokuhu Misaki looked at each other and lowered their heads. They saw the seriousness in each other's eyes and told each other what they were thinking. Sylph, Feifei, Bingling, and Bishi's expression also changed. They don't know why, but they have a bad feeling about this. In the sky, Wu Yan was panting heavily. His red eyes stared at the smoke-shrouded crater. His palm was sweating as he held on to the Nyedan Shana. Ikaros, Astria, and Mikoto, who imitated Wu Yan and used iron sand to wrap around their bodies, flew to his side. They looked down at the crater with him. Their eyes glowed as they activated their system perception to check the situation inside the smoke-shrouded crater. After unleashing their full power, everyone felt a little tired. However, none of them were willing to let down their guard. They knew that if something were to happen, they wouldn't be the only ones who would suffer. Their companions would suffer as well. Yen. Mikoto couldn't help but ask. Did we win? Wu Yan looked at the smoke-shrouded area carefully. He couldn't make up his mind, even though his instincts told him that it wasn't going to be that easy. Suddenly, an explosive sound came from the crater, causing Wu Yan, who was about to say something, to feel his heart tighten. He turned his head to look below and saw an extremely blurry black figure rushing out from the dust. This speed is so terrifying that it left one speechless. Such extreme speed startled Wu Yan, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria for a split second. Their expressions changed and they didn't even have the time to say goodbye before they fled the scene like eagles. The black figure suddenly appeared in front of the retreating Wu Yan. Wu Yan didn't even get a good look at the other party's appearance before a violent gust of wind tore through the air in front of him and smashed towards him. Wu Yan's pupils shrunk. He quickly raised Nien Den Shana to block in front of him. However, when the violent gale smashed into Nien Den Shana only lasted for a moment before it was deflected. The attack didn't slow down and it landed heavily on Wu Yan's body. Wu Yan spat out a mouthful of blood. He was sent flying like a cannonball. Yen, master. Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria were shocked. They forgot that Wu Yan was a true ancestor and made a stupid mistake. They gave up on the Ape King and flew towards Wu Yan. Seizing this opportunity, the long-arm Ape King let out an angry roar and miraculously made a turn in the air. With a speed no slower than before, it charged towards Mikoto and the others. Don't come here. Wu Yan, who saw this scene with his own eyes, was scared out of his wits. Ignoring the fact that his body is about to crumble, he roared and leaped forward with a speed that he would never be able to achieve under normal circumstances. Miraculously, he arrived before the Ape King and appeared between Mikoto and the others. The Ape King roared. They were all its enemies, so it didn't matter who it was. It punched out and its fist was like a drill. It penetrated Wu Yan's body and left a bloody hole in Wu Yan's chest. An indescribable pain radiated from his chest into his brain. Wu Yan braced his battered body and with all his might, he lifted one of his hands. On top of it is the sealing ring. Release the seal. As his voice fell, a circle of red lines disappeared from the sealing ring. At the same time, a boundless aura that was like a sea of blood directly rushed over from a distant place. The Ape King froze and turned towards the source of the aura. A moment later, a scarlet figure appeared in front of it. Ha! Flanderchan's eyes flashed red. Chapter 569. Flanderchan's petite figure floated in the air as if she's not affected by gravity. A pair of broken wings that look more like ornaments than wings fluttered behind her back. There are a few different colored crystals hanging from the edges of the wings. They look like a large necklace that accentuates Flanderchan's luster. However, with Flanderchan's appearance, there's only one color left in the sky. That's blood red. Flanderchan is finally making her move. Chuju, Shokuhu Misaki, Frenda, and to Kitsubu Riku, who turned pale when they saw Flandre-chan appear in front of the Ape King. They all let out a sigh of relief when they saw Flandre-chan appear in front of the Ape King. They're familiar with Flandre-chan's true strength. If there's no suspense, the battle should be over soon. Even if Flandre-chan's opponent is a demonic beast of a higher level than her, unlike Chuju and the others, Fei-Fei and the others had an interesting expression when they saw Flandre-chan appear in front of the Ape King. Everyone except Hinajiku and the rest were stunned when they sensed the boundless blood aura coming from the petite figure. Even Sylph, who was always calm and collected, was stunned. She. Bing Ling and Bishi's lips trembled as if they had seen a ghost. They couldn't even speak properly. They pointed at Flandre-chan, who was flying in the sky, and their hearts were in turmoil. Chuju and Shokuhu Misaki looked at Fei-Fei and the others and smiled. They looked up at the pierced Wu Yan in the sky. They didn't look worried at all. It's obvious that they have full confidence in Flandre-chan. Watch carefully, Shokuhu Misaki said. The real battle is about to begin. A real battle. Fei-Fei's face was gloomy. She looked at the sky with an indescribable emotion. From Shokuhu Misaki's words, Fei-Fei had a feeling that she couldn't believe. Flandre-chan, who she had always treated as a child, was about to challenge the Long-Arm Ape King, a Class 9 magical beast, and she might even win. Up in the sky, Flandre-chan's eyes were half closed in satisfaction, feeling the long-awaited feeling of strength returning to her body. The expression on her face was one of extreme comfort. Flandre-chan had an excited smile on her cute face, showing her master's mood. However, when she saw Wu Yan's body being impaled on the Ape King's arm, that smile slowly disappeared. The Ape King's wine-red eyes lit up with a bloody light. It staring at Flandre-chan for a while, its body trembled. It sensed danger and instinctively wanted to throw Wu Yan away. Alas, it was too late. Bang! A soft muffled sound rang out from the long-handed Ape King's arm, causing it to widen its eyes. A few drops of blood splattered on its face. The warm blood and the intense pain it felt told it that everything it saw was real. In the blink of an eye, one of the hands of the long-handed Ape King exploded into a bloody flower, and disappeared without a trace. Roar! The Ape King roared in pain. It didn't care about Wu Yan, who fell to the ground because of the explosion. The Ape King hugged its severed arm and roared in agony. What? Fei-Fei, Bing Ling, and Bishi on the ground shouted in shock. Sylph's expression froze as she clenched her fist. Master. Ikaros flapped her wings and with a whoosh, she flew behind Wu Yan and picked him up in her arms. Master. Astria also came to Wu Yan's side. She looked at the bloody hole in his chest and gently caressed it. Her heart ached so much that it felt like it was going to bleed. Cough, cough. Coughing up some blood, Wu Yan's complexion improved quite a bit. He smiled at Ikaros and Astria before saying with much difficulty. I am fine, don't worry, Yen. Mikoto, who couldn't control her flight, was the last one to come to Wu Yan's side. She looked down at Wu Yan's chest and saw the bloody hole in his chest healing at an alarming rate. His complexion also looked better. The four of them raised their heads and looked at Flandre-chan and the long-arm Ape King, who was howling in pain. Mikoto was immediately bewildered. What's going on with the Ape King's arm? Mikoto saw the Ape King's arm explode with her own eyes. That's why she was so shocked. The Ape King's strength is terrifying. Even with the four of them working together, they still needed Wu Yan's help to survive. Now, the one who caused all of this had one of its arms exploding without knowing what happened. How can she not be shocked? By this time, the hole in his chest had completely healed up. Taking a deep breath, he gently freed himself from Ikaros's embrace. Looking at the scene above him, the corner of his mouth curled into a happy smile. I think there's only one possibility that could cause this. Wu Yan chuckled. It should be Flandre-chan's eye-destroying ability. An ability to destroy eyes? Mikoto turned her head in surprise. You mean the ability that can destroy everything? That's right. Wu Yan nodded heavily, his eyes started shining. Looks like Flandrachan's mental state has stabilized after being sealed for so long. Now that the seal is broken, Flandrachan's ability won't go out of control like before. Look! Wu Yan pointed at the Ape King's severed arm. That severed arm is the proof. If it was the old Flandrachan, she wouldn't choose to detonate a part of her opponent's body. She would detonate her opponent's entire body. So you're saying? Mikoto's jaw dropped. Flandrachan, she can control her ability freely now? Wu Yan laughed out loud, his laughter was filled with joy. There's no need for an answer. Now, Flandrachan is truly the strongest. She has full control over her mental state. Although her level hasn't changed, her strength has at least doubled. I'm afraid that even a Tier 9 pinnacle being would die in front of Flandrachan if they don't have something up their sleeves. Hearing this, Mikoto's expression changed. After a long while, she slowly exhaled. The ability to destroy everything. That's too scary, this ability, Wu Yan nodded in agreement. Flandrachan's ability is terrifying. Before Flandrachan learned how to use this ability, she was already able to strike fear into the hearts of 90% of the beings in Fantasy Village. Now, if Flandrachan returns to Fantasy Village, she would be invincible except for those who are at the pinnacle of their strength. Wu Yan's heart started pounding. He has an urge to enter Flandrachan's ruby mode right now to experience this super powerful ability. As a matter of fact, Wu Yan's guess wasn't wrong. Flandrachan tilted her head and blinked her eyes. Those eyes that were everywhere in the past have all disappeared. It's not that Flandrachan can't see, it's just that when she doesn't want to see them, those eyes that she doesn't need to use will disappear on their own. Flandrachan doesn't know what's going on, but she feels great. Nah. Flandrachan smiled innocently. Play with Flandrachan. Chapter 570. Play with Flandrachan. Flandrachan's words reached the Ape King's ears. The Ape King's howl of pain was forcefully suppressed by the Ape King's voice. The Ape King clutched its broken arm and stared at Flandrachan with a ferocious expression. It's afraid of Flandrachan. The Ape King has a feeling that if it doesn't figure out why its arm exploded for no reason, it's going to die here today. Magic beasts trust their instincts, so does the Ape King. However, it's really difficult for the Ape King to use its immature brain to think about this kind of question. Thus, the Ape King had a second thought. Run. The long-handed Ape King didn't hesitate as soon as this thought appeared in his mind. He turned around, and transformed into an afterimage. He left a trail of blood behind him as he fled into the distant forest. As for taking revenge for his disciples, the Ape King didn't even think about it. Magic beasts were like this. Compared to their direct bloodline descendants, although they also valued them, but compared to themselves, of course they wouldn't hesitate to take revenge. At least, this Ape King was like this. However, the actions of the long-handed Ape King made everyone's jaws drop to the ground. They didn't dare to believe it. As a rank 9 existence, it actually ran away just like that. There was nothing more shocking than this. After all, in their eyes, rank 9 was an incomparably noble and powerful existence. Running away? Is that even possible? Indeed, if it was any other 9th stage human, they would rather choose death than escape. Unfortunately, the Ape King was not a human. It was arrogant, but compared to its life, it would rather choose the latter. Flandrachan didn't expect the Ape King to run away like that. She stared at the Ape King in a daze. She was a little angry at the sight of the Ape King running away in a sorry state. Aren't you going to play with Flandrachan? Flandrachan's eyes glowed red and her blood aura started to fluctuate. Her tiny body started to distort like a ferocious beast about to go berserk. Her murderous aura shrouded the entire area. Hinajika's group and the elite scouts felt a chill down their spine. Then, Flandrachan disappeared from the sky. Up in the sky, Flandrachan's silhouette silently appeared above the fleeing Ape King. Then, with a wave of her hand, a ring of light shot out from her palm and rained down on the Ape King like a rain of rain. Roar! The long-armed Ape King felt a chill run down his spine. He turned around and saw the bullet screen that was raining down from the sky. He was scared out of his wits. Using his remaining arm, he smashed the ground with all his might. In an instant, countless rocks flew up and covered the long-armed Ape King's body. Bam 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 bam, the light beam landed on the flying pebbles and crushed them into powder. However, the light beam also exploded upon contact with the pebbles. In an instant, a curtain of flames erupted between Flandrachan and the long-armed Ape King, separating the two of them. The Ape King took advantage of this opportunity to increase its speed. Like an arrow, it dashed into the forest. Because of the Ape King's attack and Wu Yan's group, the terrain here has been turned into flat ground. It's not a good thing for the Ape King. The long-handed Ape King was good at jumping and dodging in the forest. As long as it could enter the forest, then with its flexible body and familiarity with the giant beast's forest, it might be able to escape successfully. But that was only possible if it could enter the forest. Between running on the ground and flying in the sky, who was faster and who was slower? It was almost impossible to guess. Flandrachan appeared on top of the Ape King before it could get far. She conjured a photon bullet in her hand and tossed it into the ground. A second later, a barrage of bullets shot up from the ground and headed straight for the Ape King. The long-armed Ape King's heart was completely scared out of its wits. The inexplicable explosion of its arm had already made it extremely terrified. Now, that little demon could actually use such a terrifying attack. At this moment, the long-armed Ape King no longer had any intention to resist. It had to be said that Fantasy Village's bullet screen was really a very intimidating existence. Under such an attack, not to mention the power, but in terms of density, there were really very few people who could dodge it. Just imagine, the scene in one's field of vision was all the opponent's attacks. How could one dodge? Coupled with the bizarre scene of Flandrachan destroying the eye, even a human of the 9th grade would be scared out of their wits if they didn't run away. They might even be traumatized, let alone a magical beast. The long-armed Ape King could only muster all of its strength and run forward with all its might. Moreover, it continuously struck the ground, stirring up rocks and stones to help itself delay and achieve the goal of evading. With the help of the pebbles, the Ape King managed to get out of the forbidden cranberry trap's attack range by rubbing against the edge of the bullet screen. Small rocks are actually so useful in the Ape King's hands. Maybe it's the Ape King's good luck? Or maybe it's the barrage itself that's hindering it. Either way, Flandrachan seemed to be very satisfied with the Ape King's performance. "Ha, gorilla, run faster, Flan is coming for you." Flandrachan is treating this chase as a game of hide and seek. Flandrachan's tattered wings didn't even budge as she flew toward the Ape King at breakneck speed. As she chased after the Ape King, she screeched happily. It was obvious that she was having a lot of fun. At the same time, the Ape King was constantly bombarded with bullet messages. The Ape King had no choice but to dodge them and dodge them all. And so, the unbelievable scene of a Tier 9 long-arm Ape King being chased around by a kid appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Forget about the elite expedition team, even Hinajuku and the others couldn't believe what they're seeing, that little girl. Bing Ling and Bishi couldn't help but be afraid of Flandrachan. "Who the hell is she?" Feifei smiled bitterly. She looked at Chuju, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others and shook her head bitterly. "You guys. You've been keeping me in the dark for a long time." Chuju and Shokuhu Misaki looked at each other and laughed dryly. They didn't know what to say, so they kept quiet. To be honest, they didn't know what excuse they could come up with to explain this. Even Shokuhu Misaki, who's always been a smart person, didn't know what to say. She decided to just keep quiet. In the distance, Wu Yan and Mikoto shook their heads with a bitter smile. They didn't expect a fight between Tier 9 to have such a dramatic turn of events. If they were to tell others about what happened today, they would probably become a laughingstock. Wu Yan looked at Flandrachan, who's happily firing barrage. He hesitated for a moment before shouting at her. "Flandrachan. Stop playing around. Hurry up and finish it off. This is the deepest part of the behemoth forest. High-tier demonic beasts are everywhere. They've already wasted a lot of time fighting here. If they continue to waste time here, other demonic beasts might come knocking on their door. Flanderchan's happy eyes froze when she heard Wu Yan's shout. She quickly turned serious. Wu Yan's words are more important to Flanderchan than her sister's. Flanderchan will listen to whatever he says. Flanderchan reached out her hand towards the fleeing long-arm ape king. All of the long-arm ape king's eyes flowed into Flanderchan's hand and were crushed by her grip. Boom! The long-arm ape king's body stiffened, and its 2-meter-tall body instantly exploded into a pool of blood, smashed into pieces. Chapter 571. The scene of the long-handed ape king exploding was played in slow motion in front of everyone's eyes. Blood splashed everywhere and dripped onto the ground. Their hearts violently pounded when they heard the sound of the long-handed ape king's body exploding. It was as if a heavy hammer had directly hit their hearts. They were afraid that this scene would be engraved in the deepest part of their hearts for the rest of their lives. Of course, that includes Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi. Flanderchan, on the other hand, acted like she just did something insignificant. She patted her hands and looked at Wu Yan with a happy smile on her face. Flanderchan drew a beautiful arc in the air and landed in front of Wu Yan. She didn't slow down at all and jumped into Wu Yan's arms. She clung onto his body like an octopus and rubbed her head against Wu Yan's chest. Big brother. Flanderchan's face lit up with joy. This is so fun. Wu Yan's lips twitched. He lamented inside. A level 83 demonic beast is just fun in Flanderchan's eyes. As expected of Gensokyo village, a place filled with perverts, she's known as the demon beast sister. Wu Yan stroked Flanderchan's light yellow hair and said softly. As long as you're happy. Hey, big brother. Flanderchan's eyes flashed with hope. Are there a lot of fun toys here? Wu Yan almost fell to the ground when he heard that. He bitterly smiled and shook his head. Well, I don't know. Like you, this is my first time here. I usually wander around the outskirts. Oh. Flanderchan nodded. She didn't really understand Wu Yan's explanation. Wu Yan sighed helplessly and patted her on the back. He exchanged a smile with Mikoto and led the 3 girls towards Chuju and the others. Flanderchan. Kinohata Sai was the first to jump out. She shouted excitedly. You're super strong. That was such a terrifying demonic beast and you took care of it in one go. Flanderchan's face blushed when she heard Kinohata Sai's praise. She bashfully buried her head in Wu Yan's chest. She's actually shy but she's still very cute. Of course, in the eyes of Wu Yan and Co., she might be cute, but in the eyes of Feifei and Co., that's not the case. No matter how cute this little girl is, they don't dare to treat her like a child anymore. Yen. Feifei took a few steps forward. She looked at Flanderchan and sighed. Now, I finally know why you were so confident in bringing Flanderchan into the behemoth forest. Feifei rolled her eyes at Wu Yan. You've really hidden it well, Wu Yan shrugged with a smile. At this point, the more he tries to explain, the more troublesome it will be. He might as well not try to explain anything. Bingling and Bishi sneakily stared at Flanderchan. They're trying to figure out how she can hide such a terrifying power in her tiny body. However, they don't dare to be like Feifei and mix with Wu Yan and the others. They're not familiar with Wu Yan and the others, but more importantly, Flanderchan. Flanderchan is an existence that can crush a tier 9 demonic beast into dust with a flip of her hand. In the eyes of the elite expedition team, Flanderchan was an existence even stronger than the Thunder Monarch. Their eyes were filled with fear as they looked at Flanderchan. Flanderchan noticed the fear in the eyes of the expedition members. She frowned and she tightened her grip on Wu Yan's shirt. She leaned her head against his shirt and the excitement and embarrassment on her face disappeared. Instead, she had a heavy expression on her face. Wu Yan raised an eyebrow when he noticed Flanderchan's strange expression. He asked her in a low voice. What's wrong? Flan. Big brother. Flanderchan raised her head and looked at Wu Yan with a pair of dim eyes. Do you hate Flan? Wu Yan chuckled. He shook his head without hesitation. Of course I don't hate Flan. Really? Flanderchan's face lit up. She asked seriously, you really won't hate Flan like them? Them? Wu Yan tilted his head in confusion. When he saw the expressions of the expedition team members, he understood. The reason must be because of them. Flan. Wu Yan nudged Flanderchan's forehead. Why do you think they hate you? Flanderchan fell silent and lowered her head. After a while, she said, because they are the same as the fairies in Scarlet Fiend Mansion and my guests. Wu Yan paused for a moment before he understood what she meant. The fear in the eyes of the expedition team members reminded Flanderchan of how she was treated back in Scarlet Fiend Mansion. In the past, Flanderchan was mentally unstable and would often go on a rampage. Aside from Ramilia and a few other people, no one dared to interact with her. They were afraid that the second miss of Scarlet Fiend Mansion would mess with them if they weren't careful. Now, the eyes of the expedition team members are probably the same as the ones who, unfortunately, met Flanderchan in Scarlet Fiend Mansion. Flanderchan is very sensitive to emotions like this. That's why she subconsciously thought they hated her. Wu Yan tightened his grip on Flanderchan's petite body. He felt pity for her. It's hard for him to imagine how Flanderchan lived back in Scarlet Fiend Mansion. If he was in Flanderchan's shoes, he wouldn't be able to take it if everyone around her looked at her with fear. Her family members were afraid of her and they were afraid of her. He might not be able to handle it, let alone the immature Flanderchan back then. No. It's more accurate to say that Flanderchan was able to survive hundreds of years in that dark basement due to her immature mind. Hinajaku and the others who had been listening to Flanderchan's speech all came over. Mikoto grabbed Flanderchan's hand. Flan. Don't worry. Even if everyone hates you, I won't. I will never hate you. Flanderchan was taken aback by Mikoto's words. Chuju walked up to Flanderchan and patted her head. Yeah, Flan is so cute, why would anyone hate you? I like Fran a lot. That's right. Astria nodded. Flan is my little sister, I am Flan's big sister, I will never hate her. Yeah. Super, I will never hate you. Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku said in unison. Shokuhu Misaki smiled faintly and rubbed Flanderchan's head. Even Ikaros walked up to Flanderchan and helped her fix her bangs, conveying her thoughts. Flanderchan looked at the girls around her in a daze. When she saw the doting smiles on their faces, her red eyes started tearing up. As it turned out, there were already so many people around Flan who cared about her. Wu Yan smiled when he saw Flanderchan's expression. See, you're not worried anymore, right? Flanderchan wiped away her tears and she nodded. She snuggled her head against Wu Yan's chest and she mumbled something while rubbing her head against his chest. Onii-chan, Flanderchan likes you guys so much, please don't leave me. Wu Yan and the girls looked at each other before looking at Flanderchan. We will. We will be together forever. Forever. Flanderchan smiled happily. Chapter 572. In a certain corner of the behemoth forest, there's an area that's completely flat. There aren't any trees or weeds in sight, there's only a wide rocky plain. A gentle breeze blew through the area, stirring up some dust. No one would have thought that this place used to be filled with trees and greenery. Not far from the flat land, there was an undulating hill-like terrain with fruit trees and streams. Fortunately, this place wasn't affected by the battle. It wasn't razed to the ground like the terrain not far from here. Moreover, the natives of this place were all killed, including the local landlord, the long-handed ape king. Therefore, the group of more than 100 people who had finished their battle chose this place as their resting place for the night. It would be a waste if they didn't use such a good environment as their resting place. This place used to be the territory of the long-arm ape king. It was located in the depths of the giant beasts forest. Generally, there were very few magic beasts living here. Even if there were some magic beasts, they wouldn't be able to attract the attention of the owner of the territory. For example, some magic beasts at the peak of the 7th rank and 8th rank wouldn't easily appear in the territory of a 9th rank magic beast. There was no need to mention Class 9 magical beasts. Once they appeared, the owner of the territory would definitely treat them as an intruder and would not hesitate to wage war against them. As a result, it was very unlikely for other Class 9 magical beasts to appear in a territory other than the owner of the territory, unless they wanted to fight for the territory. That's why Wu Yan's group of 10 and the 100+ members of the elite scouting party didn't hesitate to occupy this advantageous terrain. They don't care if any rank 9 demonic beasts noticed that something happened to the lord of the area and came to fight for the territory. They're only staying here for one night anyway. Due to the presence of the fruit trees, this place isn't suitable for everyone to set up their tents together like the previous hill. The elite scouting party can only set up their tents in a circle. Then, they set up the tents of Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, Bishi and Wu Yan's group in the middle of the circle. They're not too far away from each other, so if something happens during the night, they can take care of it in time. Now, Wu Yan's group is enjoying the same treatment as Feifei's group. The elite scouting party no longer has any objections. It can be said that if it weren't for Wu Yan's group's performance today, they wouldn't have been able to deal with the long-handed apes even if they could handle the rank 7 and 8 demonic beasts along the way. Moreover, there are 4 rank 8 demonic beasts among the 10 of them. In terms of strength, they're definitely stronger than the elite scouting party. It's all thanks to these people that they were able to avoid a calamity today. If they want to complete the mission successfully, Wu Yan's group's strength is indispensable. Of course, the most important thing is that there's one more person among the 10 that they can't ignore no matter what. A rank 9 powerhouse. No, to be more precise, it's a super powerhouse that can kill a rank 9 demonic beast with a wave of her hand. It would be strange if such a powerful group didn't receive such treatment. Moreover, the other 5 are also powerful individuals of different levels. At the very least, they're much stronger than the 100 of them. They're not much weaker than the 3 peak rank 7 demonic beasts. Each of them has their own unique abilities. They'll play a huge role in this expedition. Thinking back on today's experience, the elite scouting party members couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. If they were the only ones who came to the behemoth forest to investigate, they wouldn't have ended up well. They don't know about this. Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi are the pillars of their respective families' younger generation. Even if they aren't as strong as Wu Yan's group, with their powerful backgrounds, how can they not have any trump cards? Since they had chosen to let them lead the team in, the forces behind them naturally had to take out some of their wealth to suppress them. Otherwise, if something happened, there would be a lot of fun. Even without Wu Yan's group, Sylph and the others can still rely on their trump cards to protect themselves. For example, Feifei's trump card is Wu Yan's group. After all, Wu Yan's group was personally invited by Lei Wang to protect Feifei. This is something that no one, including Feifei, knows about. Of course, Feifei and the others can rely on their trump cards to protect themselves. The same can't be said for the other members of the scouting party. It's not like they're wrong. They're at a loss. It's only been a day since they entered the behemoth forest and they already encountered a rank 9 magical beast. What about tomorrow? When they thought of this, they could not help but feel at a loss. However, when they remembered that they still had a team of 4 8th level and 1 9th level expert on their side, they no longer felt at a loss. Instead, they felt slightly at ease. How ironic, the members of the scouting party don't know that 4 rank 8 magical beasts and 1 rank 9 magical beast are already a thing of the past. During their one-day trip into the behemoth forest, they encountered countless peak rank 7 magical beasts and even rank 8 magical beasts. Including the Long-Arm Ape clan, the peak rank 7 Long-Arm Apes were all killed by the scouting party. 1 rank 8 Long-Arm Ape was killed by Sylph and the other 5 were killed by Wu Yan's group. These are all experience points. With so many magical beasts, peak rank 7 and even rank 8 magical beasts, the amount of experience points Wu Yan's group gained is unimaginable. On top of that, there's the rank 9 long-arm ape king as well. Right now, the level of the 10 members of the scouting party has undergone a drastic change. Wu Yan, level 73, Chuju, level 70, Mikoto, level 78, Flandrachan, level 83, Ikaros, level 80, Astria, level 79, Shokuhu Misaki, level 70, Kinohada Sai, level 70, Frenda, level 70, Takitsubu Riku, level 70. In just one day, Wu Yan leveled up 3 times, Mikoto leveled up 3 times, Astria leveled up 2 times, and even Flandrachan leveled up 1 time. As for Hinajaku, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohada Sai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku, they had all broken through to the Type 8 realm. Their current strength was definitely above Fei Fei, Bai Shi, and Bing Ling. However, this isn't the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing is that Ikaros has leveled up to rank 9 after killing the long-arm ape king. She's now the second strongest person in Wu Yan's group. Now, Wu Yan's group is no longer 4 rank 8 and 1 rank 9 like the scouting party thought. Instead, they have 8 rank 8 and 2 rank 9. A group of 10 is more than enough to do whatever they want in the Spalier world. They don't even need to give face to the Empire and the 3 great houses. Hinajaku, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohada Sai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku were the happiest about their breakthroughs. Today, they finally realized how weak they were, and in the blink of an eye, their strength increased by so much. It was needless to say how excited they were. Wu Yan, Mikoto, Flandrachan, and Astria are happy about their leveling up. Leveling up isn't as big as leveling up, but at their level, it's not a small matter. That's why they're happy about it. However, this also means that it won't be easy for them to level up in the future. The higher the level, the slower the leveling up. Once they reach rank 9, they'll probably be crawling like a tortoise. What's strange is, while everyone is immersed in the joy of getting stronger, Ikaros, on the other hand, is a little gloomy. Chapter 573. Nighttime, inside a tent, Ikaros was half kneeling on top of a blanket with her head lowered. She was touching her chest with one hand. Her indigo eyes were filled with melancholy. She looked so pitiful and pitiful. You can't help but want to hug her and comfort her. Angeloids don't dream, they don't even dream, they don't even sleep. Ikaros and Astria would spend the night in their own resting place. They would spend the night in silence. That's why Chuju, Mikoto, and the others would drag Ikaros and Astria to sleep in the same room so that they wouldn't feel lonely in the dark. Even if they didn't sleep in the end, they would still be the ones watching them sleep. Fortunately, Ikaros and Astria didn't feel sad about this. They might have felt a little sad in the past, but now, whenever they feel sad at night, they would sneak over to Wu Yan's side and watch him sleep until dawn. This kind of thing might be boring, but Ikaros and Astria are very satisfied with it. To them, being able to watch the most important person in their lives sleep for countless nights is a kind of happiness that is hard to come by. He doesn't know if this is the reason why Hinajaku, Mikoto, and the others would force the 2 girls to sleep together every night. Maybe they're jealous, who knows. Unfortunately, after Chuju, Mikoto, and the others fall asleep, Ikaros and Astria would still sneak to Wu Yan's side and watch him sleep. That is, unless they notice Wu Yan doing something that's forbidden to children. For example, last night when Wu Yan was with Shokuhu Misaki, the 2 angeloids blushed and didn't dare to enter. Because even they knew that if they went in, they would definitely be forced to play with them. The sky outside is getting dark. As usual, Chuju, Mikoto, and the others would drag Ikaros and Astria out for a chat until they went to bed. However, Astria went with them as usual. Ikaros, on the other hand, rejected Chuju, Mikoto, and the others' invitation for the first time. This is something that has never happened before. So when Ikaros rejected Hinajaku and Mikoto's request, the 2 girls realized that Ikaros must have something on her mind. Ikaros is a girl who doesn't know how to hide her thoughts. In the dim tent, if one were to look closely, they would notice a faint light flickering under Ikaros's hand that's clutching her chest, full body scan detecting abnormalities. No abnormalities detected. Rescanning. Detecting abnormalities. No abnormalities detected. Ikaros's pair of indigo pupils flashed with science fiction-like frames and lights. Her robotic voice came out of her seductive lips, telling the world what she's doing, detecting abnormalities. No abnormalities detected. No abnormalities detected. Ikaros didn't know how many times she got nothing out of the ordinary. Finally, she gave up on inspecting her body. The light in her eyes disappeared, replaced by a pair of indigo pupils. Looking at her chest that was still glowing faintly, Ikaros couldn't help but clench her fists. This strange phenomenon has been going on since the day before. It's because Ikaros noticed the abnormality in her body that she rejected Hinajaku and the others' invitation. She hid in the tent alone, trying to find out what's wrong with her body. But the result was that nothing was wrong. Her body was glowing for no reason, but nothing happened. How is this possible? If there was no reason for his body to emit light, that would be really strange. Ikaros doesn't know what's going on with her. She only knows that this phenomenon started after she broke through to Tier 9 after the Ape King died. Master. This strange phenomenon made Ikaros uneasy. Right now, she really wants to be with Wu Yan and stay by his side. It gives her a sense of security even though Ikaros is much stronger than Wu Yan. Ikaros extinguished the thought the moment it appeared. She doesn't know what's going on with this phenomenon, but she has a feeling that it's not a bad thing. Since it's not a bad thing, then it's better not to talk about it so that Wu Yan won't worry about it. Ikaros didn't know that when she rejected Hinajaku and Mikoto's invitation, she had already sold herself out. Outside the tent, Hinajaku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Astria, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku gathered at the entrance of the tent. They peeked at Ikaros through a small opening in the tent. Naturally, they also noticed the glow on Ikaros' chest. Ikaros-senpai, what's going on? Astria widened her eyes in shock. She looked anxious. Is there something wrong with her body? Why didn't she say it? Shoo, lower your voice, we'll be in trouble if Ikaros hears us. Chija nudged Astria, but she too started to worry. Anyone with eyes can see that something's wrong with Ikaros's body. In the end, should we tell that guy? Frenda stood on her tiptoes and stared at Ikaros's chest. With that guy's understanding of Ikaros, he should be able to tell something, right? No. Let's not. Kinohada Sayai shook her head. Since Ikaros didn't choose to say it out loud, it must be because she doesn't want others to worry. If we super tell that guy, wouldn't it be a waste of her efforts? But we can't just leave it like that. Mikoto lowered her voice, but it wasn't hard to hear the impatience in her voice. What if something really happens to her? I don't think so. I don't think it's that bad. Shokuhu Misaki rubbed her cheeks. Ikaros is an angeloid, she should know her body better than anyone else. If something really happened to her, she wouldn't have dragged it out until now. Oh right, I remember now. Astria suddenly punched her palm. Ikaros-senpai has a self-healing system. If something really happened to her, her self-healing system would have activated a long time ago. The other 5 girls looked at Astria. Shokuhu Misaki said. Self-healing system? I think Yen mentioned it before. Ikaros's self-healing system will check her body and eliminate any abnormalities. Astria nodded repeatedly. Ikaros-senpai's self-healing system didn't activate on its own, that means she's fine. Astria got a little excited when she said this. She subconsciously wanted to cheer. The other girls jumped in fright and covered Astria's mouth with their hands. You super idiot. Be careful not to get super exposed. Kinohada Sayai grumbled. Astria, are you sure the self-healing system won't malfunction as well? Shokuhu Misaki turned to Astria and asked. Astria shook her head without hesitation and shook off the girl's hands. The self-healing system isn't under Ikaros-senpai's control. If something happens to Ikaros-senpai's body, it will activate on its own. There's no way it will malfunction unless it's intentionally sabotaged. Is that so? Shokuho Misaki muttered under her breath. Her starry eyes stared at Ikaros for a while before she said helplessly. If that's the case, let's observe for a while before we decide what to do. The girls looked at each other. After a long while, they all nodded their heads. Chapter 574. While Chuju, Mikoto, and the others are worrying about Ikaros, in another tent, Wu Yan, who didn't know what happened, finally let out a sigh of relief. Glancing at his side, he saw a pair of broken crystal wings crossed in front of him. Little Flanderchan was sleeping soundly with her fingers sucked in her mouth, causing him to smile wryly. Today, the elite expedition team's fear of Flanderchan reminded her of her bad past. Even though Flanderchan's mood improved after being comforted by the girls, she didn't want to leave Wu Yan's side at night no matter what. She clung onto Wu Yan and didn't want to let go. Left with no choice, Wu Yan brought Flanderchan to his tent and comforted her for half a day. She's finally asleep. Kids sure are hard to please. Sighing, Wu Yan reached out and stroked Flanderchan's hair. Looking at her cute sleeping face, he couldn't help but smile. Good night, little one. Wu Yan kissed Flanderchan's cheek and covered her with a blanket. Then, he shook off Flanderchan's hand and got up to leave the tent. At this time, the sky was already completely dark. The elite exploration team started a few bonfires, causing the entire forest to be filled with a fiery red color. As for them, they began to divide into shifts and get busy for the night patrol mission. Of course, there were also some who were roasting some meat over the bonfire or picking fruits from the fruit trees, preparing for dinner. Standing in the center of the encirclement of tents, Wu Yan surveyed his surroundings. From here, he could clearly see that not far away from him, there is a wall of light that looks like glass that encircles this area. That was a defensive barrier set up by the mages. It was meant to block the magical beasts when they appeared and allow them to react. In addition, it also had the function of soundproofing, concealing, and so on. It would not attract unnecessary trouble due to the bright bonfire and the sound of everyone's conversation. All in all, the elite expedition team did a pretty good job in this aspect. Their methods are professional and they're well prepared. If it wasn't for the fact that this trip to the giant beast forest was beyond their capabilities, they would have played an important role. They wouldn't be like right now where they can only fight small monsters, help patrol, cook, and so on. They're still elites after all. Wu Yan raised his head and looked at the night sky. His wine-red eyes shone with a strange light. His black robe fluttered in the wind, his short hair fluttered in the wind. His entire body blended in with the night sky. If anyone were to see this scene, they'd be shocked. Because at this moment, Wu Yan gives off the feeling that he's the king of the night. He's born to live in the night. His entire body is filled with a strange charm that makes people intoxicated. The night sky in the behemoth forest is especially bright. Specks of starlight adorn the dark sky. Between the twinkling and blinking, it moves the hearts of those who watch. Unfortunately, it's unknown if it's because of the surrounding trees. This beautiful night sky is missing an intoxicating bright moon. In Wu Yan's eyes, the stars in the sky form 4 patterns. They're like constellations, interconnected and particularly enchanting. Those 4 patterns are 4 exquisite and beautiful faces. Kotori, Kurumi, Toka, Yoshino, looking at those 4 beautiful faces, the longing in his heart seemed to have a reaction. It moved along with the stars in the sky, constantly tugging at Wu Yan's heart. When he woke up, Wu Yan couldn't help but laugh mockingly. He's really a fickle person. In the date battle world, he missed Chuju, Mikoto, and the others. Now that he's back in the Spalier world, he's starting to miss other girls. It's not until now that he realized how many ties he has tied himself down. Speaking of which, he would always have this kind of discovery every time he wakes up in the dead of night. Is this what they call loneliness and emptiness? Thinking of this, Wu Yan immediately shook his head. He cursed in his heart. Lonely and emptiness? I have so many beautiful and cute wives around me, what's there to be lonely and empty about? Or is this the so-called eating from the bowl and looking at the pot? No. Impossible. I'm so devoted, how can I eat from the bowl and look at the pot? That's what he's thinking, but Wu Yan's expression is getting more and more guilty. His shameful self-consolation is mercilessly broken. He sighed and looked up at the night sky. No matter what, it's a fact that he misses coterie and the others. As the longing in his heart burst forth, Wu Yan's eyes started to flicker with hesitation. He has an urge to summon coterie and the others. But when Wu Yan really wants to summon them, he's troubled. His summoning points aren't enough to summon coterie, Kurumi, Toka, and Yoshino. If he really wants to summon them, who should he summon first? For a while, Wu Yan was stuck in a dilemma about who to summon. He didn't even notice that there were a few more people behind him. Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked at each other. They saw Wu Yan's troubled expression, he didn't notice them at all. They couldn't help but feel curious. He didn't even notice that there were people approaching him. This Tier 8 sure is incompetent. What's troubling him to this extent? After watching quietly for a while, Mikoto was the first to get impatient. What are you thinking about? Why are you so engrossed in your thoughts? Wu Yan jumped out of his stupor when he saw Hinajuku, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki. His face turned red when he noticed that Hinajuku, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki were also startled by him. What are you guys doing? It's fun to scare people. She rolled her eyes in annoyance. In the end, the thick-skinned person began to accuse her in advance. Huh? Mikoto raised an eyebrow and poked Wu Yan with her finger. You're the one who's scaring yourself. We've been standing here for a long time and you didn't even notice us. How dare you accuse us of scaring you? We've been standing here for a long time? Wu Yan scratched his head. Have you been standing here for a long time? I really didn't notice. So, what are you thinking about? Why are you so engrossed? Chuju crossed her arms in front of her chest and looked at Wu Yan suspiciously. This made Wu Yan recall the reason why he was in such a dilemma. His expression turned unnatural. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just casually thinking about it. His eyes drifted and shifted away. This made him look even more suspicious. I was just casually thinking about it. Hinajuku and Mikoto narrowed their eyes as they stared at Wu Yan's face. Wu Yan smiled sheepishly with an embarrassed expression. Shokuhu Misaki, who has been observing Wu Yan's expression, suddenly realized something and spoke. Don't tell me you're thinking about the girls you messed around with in the dungeon world? Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki heard a loud thud coming from Wu Yan's chest. The three of them understood what was going on. Shokuhu Misaki's lips curled up. Little Yen, you were so engrossed in your thoughts just now. If I'm not wrong, you were probably thinking about whether or not to summon those girls, right? Thud, thump 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 sounds kept coming out from his chest. In the silence of the night, the sound was very clear. Hearing this sound, Hinajuku and Mikoto came to a realization. Their gazes pierced Wu Yan like needles, turning the thump 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 sounds into thump 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 thump. He couldn't help but take a step back. Looking at the three girls who could turn into goddesses at any moment, Wu Yan's heart throbbed with pain. This doesn't make sense. Mind reading? Chapter 575. Hinajuku and Mikoto instantly turned black when they saw Wu Yan's expression that was basically admitting to it. It seems like you have a good relationship with them. Chuju closed her eyes and said expressionlessly. Actually, it's not that good. Wu Yan forced a smile and raised his hand weakly. It's best to avoid Kaishu-sama's sharp edge for now. You missed them so much that you didn't even notice us approaching you. How can you say you don't have a good relationship? Mikoto chuckled coldly. Tell me, what do those girls look like that you're so engrossed in your thoughts? They must be prettier than us. Actually, they're not that pretty. Wu Yan wanted to wipe his forehead to see how much sweat he's sweating. He's sure that his back is completely soaked. They're not pretty. Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan with a smile that doesn't look like a smile. Tell me, which of the girls you've taken a fancy to are slightly ugly? Actually, they're not just slightly ugly. What did you say? Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki were furious. They yelled at Wu Yan to wake him up from his stupor. Wu Yan is sure that his face is completely soaked in sweat. Wu Yan backed away with cold sweat on his forehead. He's crying on the inside. All he did was think about the girls and he ended up in such a state. If he really did summon them, wouldn't his backyard be on fire? Calm down, calm down. Wu Yan pushed his hands forward. He forced a smile on his face but his heart was bleeding. Every inch of his backyard is an inch of blood. This is the first time he's experiencing this feeling. Wu Yan pursed his lips and looked at Shokuhu Misaki with hatred. It's all because of this damned Queen Sama. It seems like she didn't learn enough from last night's lesson. Shokuhu Misaki felt her head go numb. She instantly remembered how the man in front of her played with her last night. Like a bucket of cold water, she poured it all over Shokuhu Misaki's body. The anger in her heart was extinguished, and all that was left was fear and trepidation. He won't come looking for her again tonight, will he? Shokuhu Misaki's heart started pounding when she thought of this. Last night, Wu Yan put her in all sorts of positions and taught her a lesson. She can still remember that scene. If she were to go through it again, Shokuhu Misaki shuddered. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that it's possible. Shokuhu Misaki rolled her eyes and pretended to be cold. She snorted and said in a mysterious tone. Forget it. Since it's already happened, there's no point in talking about it. Think about how you're going to deal with this. Hinajuku and Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki strangely. Since when did this woman become so kind and easy to talk to? But after thinking about it, the two girls felt that Shokuhu Misaki's words made sense. Since it's already happened, there's no point in talking about it. The most important thing right now is to see how Wu Yan will react. But why do I feel like something's not right? Plus, I don't want to give up. Chuju and Mikoto looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They felt that something was off but they still looked at Wu Yan like Shokuhu Misaki did. Wu Yan was stunned. Looking at the three girls who suddenly compromised, he couldn't help but get excited. So, you're not against me summoning them? Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki felt sour when they saw how excited Wu Yan was. They snorted and turned their heads away. Out of sight, out of mind. Shokuhu Misaki sighed. Whether we agree or not is secondary. The problem is that you have to promise us that we'll get along well. You don't want us to fight, right? No, no, no. Absolutely not. Wu Yan shook his head like a drum. They're all nice girls and their personalities are similar to yours. I'm sure you'll get along well. Are you sure? Mikoto said with a hint of annoyance. What will you do if there's a conflict between us? Will you side with us or with them? Chuju didn't mince her words. They're still uncomfortable with the idea of someone joining their big family. They're more or less going to want to compete with them. Let me put it this way. Wu Yan lowered his head and thought for a bit before he continued. One of them is called Kotori, she has a dual personality. One of them is a cheerful girl, she's as obedient as the girl next door. The other one is a bit nasty but overall, she's just a tsundere. The last one is called Kurumi, her personality is that of a noble lady. She had some issues with her in the past but they're mostly resolved now. As for the remaining two, one is a little girl around 11 or 12 years old and the other, you can treat her as the second Estrella. Do you understand now? Tsundere. Tsundere. Lowly. Foodie. Mikoto chuckled coldly. You're such a philanthropist, Wu Yan dryly laughed before continuing. Mikoto, these words coming out of your mouth don't just sound out of place. Chuju frowned but she nodded reluctantly. If it's as you say, then she's not that hard to get along with, isn't that right? Isn't that right? Wu Yan said with a smile. He didn't even try to hide the fact that he's about to howl at the sky. Things seem to be going well for him. noble lady? Shokuhu Misaki diverted her attention to something else. She had an amused smile on her face. She is the only one who is 100% well-mannered among the girls. She seems to be very interested in this noble lady that Wu Yan referred to as a noble lady. Kurumi? Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it too. Chuju and Mikoto said at the same time as they clenched their fists. We have to let them know who's the real boss here. Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched as he listened to the three women's words. His mouth twitched as his mind flipped 1,000 times. I told you to get along with each other, not to kill each other. Wake up. Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki were stunned for a moment before they chuckled awkwardly. Following the resolution of this life event, the scene instantly fell into silence. The four of them looked at each other, their big eyes staring at each other, causing the atmosphere to become rather strange. I said. Mikoto's mouth twitched. Hurry up. Faster. Wu Yan flinched and looked at Mikoto in a daze. Hurry up what? Hurry up. Did you bring your head or not? Mikoto screamed. Didn't we decide to get along with each other? Why don't you summon them? Wu Yan was relieved to hear Mikoto's words, but he quickly smiled bitterly. Well, I have a problem that is neither too big nor too small. You still have a problem at this point? Hinajaku wanted nothing more than to bite this bastard to death. Are you going to tell me that there's more than 4 of them? No. Wu Yan quickly shook his head and explained. I don't have enough summoning points to summon all 4 of them. I was troubled by this problem and didn't know who to summon first. Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki were speechless. You've been troubled by this for so long? Wu Yan nodded without hesitation. The moment he nodded, the 3 of them looked at him like he was an idiot. Wu Yan laughed dryly. Chapter 576. At this moment, an icy blue figure came out from a nearby tent. Just like when Wu Yan first came out, she looked around before looking up at the starry sky. Her robes fluttered in the wind and her icy blue hair fluttered in the wind. Unfortunately, she didn't receive any attention from the passers-by. She quietly enjoyed the tranquil atmosphere for a while. Not long after, a clamor was transmitted into her ears, causing her pretty eyebrows to knit together a little. Clearly, she was extremely unhappy that she had been disturbed. However, when she turned her head and saw the owner of the voice, the dissatisfaction on her brows immediately froze. Then, it disappeared and was replaced by a somewhat strange expression. There was curiosity, doubt, and hesitation. She stared at the person in front of her for a long time before the hesitation in her eyes dissipated. She raised her feet and walked forward. Do you have to be so conflicted over something like this? Aya, you guys don't understand. No matter who is chosen, no one is good. Who knows if the others who weren't chosen will be in a bad mood because of this, huh? I say, aren't you thinking too much? How could anyone care about such a small matter? Are you sure? What if it was you? Would you be upset if I didn't pick you? Yes. I. Of course not. Can you please look into my eyes when you speak? Thank you. Why do you have so much to say? Why are you hesitating? Are you still a man? Hey. I can't pretend that I didn't hear what you said. Do I need to prove whether I'm a man or not? Haven't you experienced it yourself? Shut up. You shut up. X3 The person stopped for a moment, her icy blue eyes showed signs of hesitation. However, she wasn't hesitating about whether she should come over, she was hesitating about whether she should run away. Wu Yan, Hinajaku, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki, who were in the middle of their conversation, noticed someone approaching them. They turned around and they froze when they saw who it was. Sylph. Mikoto was surprised to see Sylph standing not too far away. She rubbed her eyes and after confirming the identity of the visitor, she couldn't help but make a fuss. But when she thought about it, it's not that strange. The number of times this ice princess has taken the initiative to interact with others is probably less than the number of fingers she has on her fingers. It's really you. Even Hinajuku and Shokuhu Misaki were shocked. They haven't known Sylph for a long time, but Sylph's cold personality is as well known as her reputation. Good evening. Wu Yan held it in for a long time before he finally managed to squeeze out this sentence. Hinajuku and the other girls looked at him with disdain. Sylph maintained her cold expression. She nodded in response to Wu Yan's greeting. Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked at each other. Shokuhu Misaki took the initiative to speak. Sylph, are you here to look for us? Sylph nodded, but she quickly shook her head. Wu Yan and the other girls were speechless. Is she here to look for us? Sylph noticed Wu Yan and the others' confusion. She paused for a moment before speaking. Her words caused an uproar. I'm here to look for you. Sylph looked into Wu Yan's eyes and she said something shocking. I want to talk to you in private. Alone. Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki's jaws dropped. Talk to you. Wu Yan's jaw dropped. Wu Yan and the others were shocked when they saw Sylph acting as if she was asking them if they had dinner yet. Is this the same Princess Sylph who doesn't like to interact with people? Could it be an imposter? The four of them had the same thought at the same time. Of course, this thought only lasted for a moment before it was tossed aside by the four of them. They turned their attention to the main point. Talk to him. Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan with murderous intent. Talk to him alone? The murderous intent enveloped Wu Yan. Wu Yan shuddered. Wu Yan instinctively took a few meters away from Sylph and shook his head at Chuju and the others to express his innocence. The three harem masters have just acknowledged the existence of Kotori and the other girls. If he were to get entangled with Sylph now, he would definitely die a miserable death. After all, the three girls would definitely be a little unhappy about it. A wise man submits to circumstances and cleans up his ties with them. Plus, there was nothing between them to begin with. Sylph stood there without saying a word. She seemed to be waiting for Hinajuku and the others to leave. Wu Yan almost fell to the ground when he saw how calm and confident she is. I say, why don't you give me an explanation? Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked back and forth between Wu Yan and Sylph. For some reason, the murderous intent in their eyes disappeared. There's a 99% chance that the two of them have nothing to do with each other. That's what Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki thought when they saw Sylph's cold expression. They would rather die than believe that Sylph would be interested in Wu Yan. All right. Shokuhu Misaki pursed her lips. Then the three of you can talk to each other in private. Shokuhu Misaki narrowed her eyes and glared at Wu Yan. As for the lost girls you abducted, it's not a good time for them to appear here. Let's talk about them after we leave the behemoth forest. Wu Yan nodded his head. As long as they don't object to his summoning or reject Kotori and the others, he will do whatever they want. Hinajuku and Mikoto didn't want to leave, but since Shokuhu Misaki said so, they didn't want to stay any longer. They glared at Wu Yan before leaving with Shokuhu Misaki. They returned to their own tents, leaving Wu Yan and Sylph alone. After the three women left, Wu Yan didn't know what to do. He smiled at Sylph and waited for her to speak. Sylph, on the other hand, was staring at the white ring on Wu Yan's finger. Just as Wu Yan couldn't take it anymore, Sylph finally spoke. Your ring. Sylph looked at Wu Yan and spoke in a serious tone. Where did you get it from? Huh? Ring? Wu Yan flinched and he saw Sylph looking at his hand. He followed her gaze down to his hand. You're saying. Wu Yan frowned as he raised the pure white ring on his finger. This ring? Sylph nodded. Wu Yan's expression turned serious. He looked straight into Sylph's eyes. Do you recognize this ring? Sylph paused, her eyes flickered for a moment before she nodded and shook her head. Wu Yan's mouth twitched. Do you recognize it or not? Sylph shook her head. Now is not the time to tell you. Huh? Wu Yan was stunned. What kind of answer is that? Where did you get this ring from? Sylph quietly shifted the topic back to her previous question. Wu Yan sighed. I got this ring from a treasure trove. A treasure trove. Sylph was silent for a moment before she nodded. I understand. Thank you. Wu Yan stared at Sylph with a dumbfounded expression as she walked away without looking back. Wu Yan took a few deep breaths as he looked at Sylph's back. I won't stoop to your level. Chapter 577. Morning, deep in the behemoth forest. Wisps of refreshing air spread through the encirclement of tents. The cold temperature made the people who came out of the tents involuntarily tighten their clothes. Sunlight shone down from the sky above the forest, passing through the layers of green trees and finally converging on the ground, reflecting mottled light spots. Inside the bonfire, the crackling sound of the burning branches continued. However, because of the cold morning, even if one stood beside the bonfire, they could not feel any warmth. Fortunately, the bright and beautiful sunlight still gave the people who had rested in the forest for a night or patrolled for half the night a sense of warmth, so they did not feel so lazy. Of course, that's the feeling of a normal person. For those who are born abnormal, no matter how good the weather is in the morning, they'll always feel like they can't get enough sleep. After a while, Wu Yan finally got up from his bed with Flandrachan's help. He yawned as he carried Flandrachan out of his tent. That lazy look on his face would have infected anyone who saw it. I say, can't you be a little more energetic in the morning? Mikoto put her hands on her hips, her smooth thighs swayed back and forth a few times, sparkling under the sunlight. Seeing this, Wu Yan perked up a bit, his eyelids couldn't help but stare at those thighs for a bit before retracting them. You guys don't understand. Sleeping in the morning is such a blissful thing. That's only possible when we're in a warm bed. Hinajaku pursed her lips in annoyance. In the forest, in a tent, on a blanket, you can sleep so comfortably. Blissful isn't enough to describe it. You're just lazy. No, you're wrong about me. No, you've been seen through by others for a long time. No one can blame you. Too bad I don't have a warm pillow by my side. If only I had a nice person to accompany me. Don't change the topic. Also, didn't Flandrachan sleep with you the whole night? Ikaros, you'll have to sleep with me next time. Yes, master, you're blushing, how cute. Don't go too far. Don't ignore me. While Wu Yan and the girls were chatting away, the others had already finished their preparations and were just waiting to depart. As for breakfast, Wu Yan had already finished his breakfast. Even the girls had already eaten. The only one who hasn't eaten yet is Wu Yan. Yan, are you guys ready? Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi walked up to Wu Yan's group. Fei Fei asked. If this was before, Fei Fei and the others would respect Wu Yan's opinion, but they wouldn't ask in front of their subordinates. After all, they are the leader and Wu Yan and the others are outsiders. Now, however, no one would ignore Wu Yan's opinion. Wu Yan also noticed this. He took a deep look at the expedition party behind Fei Fei and nodded. All right, let's go, okay. Fei Fei nodded. She exchanged glances with Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi before waving her hand. Let's go. After Fei Fei and the others gave the order, the magicians quickly walked out of the group and removed the barrier that they had been working on for the entire night. The same forest once again appeared before everyone's eyes. The group of more than 100 people gathered together and carefully walked towards the center of the behemoth forest. After yesterday's lesson, everyone no longer dared to wander around the giant beast's forest brazenly. After walking a certain distance, Fei Fei and the other three would stop and study the surrounding terrain with their subordinates to see if they had accidentally entered the territory of a Class 9 magical beast. They didn't want to experience yesterday's frightening battle again. Actually, it was quite easy to identify if he had barged into the territory of a Class 9 magical beast. That was because in the territory of a Class 9 magical beast, it was very difficult for other types of magical beasts to appear except for some of the magical beast's offspring. After all, it was its territory. How could it allow other magical beasts to enter? Even if there are, it's usually just a few unimportant monsters, like peak Class 7 monsters or Class 8 monsters. Therefore, as long as the appearance of magical beasts in a place became sparse, and the level of the magical beasts was not very high, and the same type of magical beast appeared frequently, then this place would most likely be the territory of a 9th-grade magical beast. However, there are also cases like yesterday where the entire tribe gathered together because they found a good place to live. Yesterday, the reason why they didn't discover that it was the territory of the Ape King was because the Ape Kings were all living together, causing the species of magical beasts they encountered along the way to be very irregular. Although the level of the magical beasts was a bit low, the group didn't have much suspicion. In the end, tragedy, fortunately, Wu Yan's group came with them this time. Otherwise, aside from Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi who have some trump cards to protect themselves, no one else would have survived. They walked with extreme caution and got closer to the center of the behemoth forest. Strangely enough, they haven't encountered a single monster since morning. This situation is a little strange. Wu Yan even saw a Tier 8 demonic beast appear in their line of sight for less than a second before it ran away with its tail tucked between its legs, causing many people to stare at it so hard that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi didn't react to it at all. It's as if it's only natural. Wu Yan knew that the problem lies with them. After handing Flanderchan to Chuju, Wu Yan walked up to Feifei and asked, "How did you do it?" Feifei smiled faintly. "I knew I couldn't hide it from you." Wu Yan rolled his eyes. Everyone else would be shocked to see this, but the four of them were the only ones who remained calm. Even a ghost would know that they were the ones behind this. Feifei took out a small pouch and waved it in front of Wu Yan. Wu Yan frowned and asked in surprise, "The problem lies with this?" "Yes." Feifei nodded and straightened her back. "This pouch contains the blood of the long-armed Ape King from yesterday." "The blood of the long-armed Ape King?" Feifei grinned. "You still don't understand? For normal magical beasts, a 9th-rank magical beast is their natural enemy." Wu Yan blinked when he heard Feifei's words. He looked at the pouch and had an idea. Could it be that those magical beasts can sense the presence inside? That's right. Feifei mischievously weighed the small bag in her hand and smiled. "We put the blood of the long-handed Ape King inside the bag and carried it with us. Naturally, some of the long-handed Ape King's aura will appear on our bodies. Ordinary people won't be able to feel this aura, but magic beasts that have lived in the giant beasts forest for a long time will certainly be able to sense it. Those magical beasts didn't see the real person, but they sensed the presence. They will subconsciously think that a 9th-rank magical beast is here, so they all ran away. We won't have as much trouble as before." "This." Wu Yan shook his head and laughed. "To think that you can think of such a method. Aren't you afraid of provoking trouble? If a Class 9 magical beast appeared nearby and sensed the aura of the long-handed Ape King, it wouldn't take the initiative to avoid it. Instead, it would directly come to its door." "You don't have to worry about that," Feifei said. "Normally, 9th-rank magical beasts won't leave their territory. Besides, don't we have you guys?" Wu Yan was speechless. Chapter 578. As it turns out, Feifei and the other three's idea was pretty good. They didn't encounter any demonic beasts that tried to stop them. Even if they did, they would just peek their heads out and run away before they could even see who it was. Today was the smoothest and most peaceful day they've had since they entered the behemoth forest. The expedition party was overjoyed by the smoothness of their journey. Everyone felt more relaxed than ever. After all, yesterday's journey brought them to the brink of death a few times. They were worried about today's journey, worried that they might lose their lives. Who would have thought that today's journey would go so smoothly? Their mood changed from being on edge to being relaxed. The sudden change in mood made the expedition party feel a little tired. However, this didn't stop them from being in high spirits. Instead, they quickened their pace, trying to reach the center of the behemoth forest as soon as possible to complete their mission. To be honest, other than Fei Fei and Sylph, the rest of the expedition party didn't want to stay in the behemoth forest any longer. They were filled with ambition and determination to complete their mission. But in the past few days, their ambitions were shattered one by one. Only they themselves know how bitter the journey was. However, the hundreds of Tier 7 elites in the expedition party are destined to have a hard time on this journey. As the afternoon approached, Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi, who were leading the way, suddenly stopped and turned around with a solemn expression. Everyone, set up camp. The expedition party was stunned. They looked at the 4 leaders in front of them and then looked up at the sky. They couldn't help but feel puzzled. It's still early, logically speaking, they should have been able to continue their journey. Although their hearts were filled with doubts, the members of the elite exploration team immediately responded. They spread out and began to set up their camp. Yen, Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki walked to Wu Yan's side and looked at him. It's obvious that they were puzzled by Fei Fei and the others' actions. Wu Yan narrowed his eyes and glanced at Fei Fei and the others. He said to Chuju and the others, "Wait here for a while, I'll go ask them." The girls nodded. Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked at each other and gave them a reassuring look. They then walked towards Fei Fei and the others. "Why did you stop?" Wu Yan didn't beat around the bush when he arrived in front of Fei Fei and the others. Fei Fei looked at Sylph and the others before taking a step forward. "Even if you didn't come over to ask, we would have told you the reason later. After all, we can't do without your help." Fei Fei lowered her head and paused for a moment. She turned around and whispered into Wu Yan's ears. However, the content of her words made Wu Yan perk up. His doubts were instantly dispelled. "According to the map, we should be at the center of the behemoth forest. So, it's right in front." Wu Yan followed Fei Fei's gaze and looked ahead. If Lei Wang and the other Tier 9 powerhouses are right and a demigod beast king is about to be born, they will have to face it soon. It has been almost a year since he came to the Spalier world, including the time he spent in the instance dungeons. In this 1 year, he went from a useless otaku to a powerhouse. He might not be at the peak, but he is more than capable of standing out in the Spalier world. However, this is his first time facing a demigod beast. He hasn't even reached Tier 9 yet and he's about to face a demigod, the strongest existence in the Spalier world. His feelings are indescribably complicated. What do you all plan to do next? Wu Yan calmed himself down and looked at Fei Fei and the others. They are the ones in charge of this mission, not him. He's only here as a bodyguard. It's up to Fei Fei to decide what to do next. Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi lowered their heads and muttered to themselves. Fei Fei took the lead and told Wu Yan her plan. "Yan, as you know, our mission this time is to go to the center of the behemoth forest. We're going to investigate if the abnormal behavior of the demonic beasts is due to the birth of the Beast King. Now that the center of the behemoth forest is right in front of us, it's no longer suitable for our subordinates to follow us." Wu Yan nodded in understanding. Indeed, the demonic beasts that live in the center of the behemoth forest are the strongest in the entire behemoth forest. They are at least Tier 9 existences. At this point, the use of the elite exploration team was almost non-existent. They couldn't help in the battle and might even expose their whereabouts due to the large number of people. Therefore, the use of the elite exploration team had more or less come to an end here. Speaking of which, the elite expedition team is quite pitiful. Originally, they were there to help Fei Fei, Sylph, and the others deal with low-tier demonic beasts. When they encounter high-tier demonic beasts, they can use their numbers to stall for time. In the end, because of Wu Yan's group, the elite expedition team has been reduced to mere bystanders. Other than helping Wu Yan, Fei Fei, and the others with odd jobs and cooking, they only played a small role in dealing with the long-arm apes. It's quite pitiful. But because of this, other than a few deaths due to carelessness in the beginning, the rest of the elite expedition team has been living in fear for their lives. If it wasn't for Wu Yan's group, they don't even know if 10 of them would be able to survive. Compared to their own lives, even if they knew about it, they would rather be a bystander and would not have much complaints, this time. Fei Fei looked around and said, "The few of us will follow you into the heart of the behemoth forest to scout out the situation." 14 people? Wu Yan smiled bitterly. "That's not a small number, what's wrong?" Fei Fei frowned as she looked at Wu Yan's face. "Do you have other ideas?" No. Let's do it this way." Wu Yan smiled, but he sighed in his heart. If possible, Wu Yan doesn't want Fei Fei, Bing Ling, and Bishi to follow them into the heart of the forest. Their strength isn't good enough for them to continue moving forward. Wu Yan knew that if he said it out loud, not only would he make them unhappy, it would also have the opposite effect. As the leaders of this operation, even if they know the dangers ahead, Fei Fei and the other two wouldn't just let him wait here and do nothing. They are the leaders after all. Wu Yan turned around to look at Sylph. Sylph shook her head when she saw Wu Yan looking at her. It seems like she didn't approve of Fei Fei and the others going with them. However, she knew that persuading Fei Fei and the others wouldn't work. She's probably feeling helpless about this as well. After leaving Fei Fei and the others, Wu Yan returned to the women and explained everything to them. "We're finally here." The women's expressions turned serious. Just like Wu Yan, they looked at the heart of the behemoth forest. No one knows what they're thinking. No matter what, it's best if we can complete Grandpa Lei Wang's request. If we can't. Wu Yan looked at the women and said seriously, "Remember, the most important thing is to ensure your own safety, understood?" The women looked at each other and nodded. Chapter 579. The expedition party has been kept in the dark about their trip to the behemoth forest. All they know is that they are here to investigate a very important matter. However, they don't know what it is. Lei Wang only told them that this is a secret mission. That's why when Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi told them that their mission is to stay here and wait for them to return, the expedition party knew that the real mission is about to begin. Fei Fei and the others are going to carry it out. Of course, they wouldn't have any complaints. As part of a large family, they understood the basic principles. When it came to truly confidential matters, they had to do more, ask less, and even watch less. They already had this kind of awareness a long time ago. Therefore, the members of the elite exploration team only nodded and didn't say anything. Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi gathered together with Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Ikaros, Flanderchan, Astria, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku. I believe there's no need for me to explain just how dangerous it will be later. Fei Fei took a deep breath and looked around at everyone. Everyone, let's hope that we can complete this mission successfully. Everyone smiled at each other and nodded at Fei Fei. They looked at the camp behind them and walked into the heart of the behemoth forest. At this point, the bag containing the long-arm ape king's blood had already been taken by Fei Fei and the others. It was thrown into the camp for the elite exploration team to use. Basically, no one would enter the heart of the giant beast's forest. This was because the magic beasts here stood at the peak of the giant beast's forest. The center of the giant beast's forest wasn't that big. It was the smallest area in the entire giant beast's forest. It was much smaller than the inner regions. There weren't many magic beasts living here, but this small number of magic beasts was enough to make the center of the giant beast's forest a forbidden area. Even a rank 9 powerhouse would turn pale at the mention of this place. The demonic beasts living here are all Tier 9 demonic beasts. They are at the forefront of Tier 9 demonic beasts. Rank 9 magical beasts were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. However, in this place, they at least had the strength to suppress the rank 9 magical beasts in the inner regions. From this, one could imagine just how frightening the magical beasts here were. If they bring along the pouch containing the ape king's blood, then the group of 14 will instantly become a hot commodity and attract all sorts of Tier 9 demonic beasts. Because the deeper you go into the behemoth forest, the higher the tier of demonic beasts, no one is willing to go into the heart of the forest. Therefore, after countless years of development, the number of Tier 9 demonic beasts here is definitely more than the number of Tier 9 demonic beasts. The lifespan of demonic beasts is much longer than that of humans. Even so, their chances of advancing to the next tier are much smaller. But once they reach the 9th tier, humans no longer dare to provoke them. After a long period of development, no matter how low the chances of advancing to the next tier is, there will inevitably be some accumulation. It's not surprising that there are more Tier 9 demonic beasts than Tier 9 humans. Maybe because of this, after a long period of accumulation, there was finally a peak Tier 9 demonic beast that successfully advanced to the next tier and became a demigod beast king. The central area isn't that big, but the number of demonic beasts is very low. Wu Yan's group of 14 carefully trekked forward for quite some time. They are surrounded by the same forest, but no one thought that this place is the same as the forest they went through before. At the very least, everyone here can feel the heavy and dangerous atmosphere that permeates the air. In order to avoid encountering any Class 9 demonic beasts, this time, not only were Fei Fei and the rest on high alert, even Shokuhu Misaki and Ikaros were doing their best to sense their surroundings. The moment they sensed a Class 9 demonic beast approaching, they would retreat as fast as they could. It's not that they are timid, it's just that their mission is to scout. In a situation where there is no way out, they can't engage in unnecessary battles. It's not clear if they are lucky or not, but the group of 14 ran into Tier 9 demonic beasts 3 or 4 times. Moreover, every single one of them was at least level 85. At the 9th tier, even the difference of 1 tier is huge. A level 85 demonic beast is much stronger than a long-handed ape king, let alone a level 85 demonic beast. Fortunately, Shokuhu Misaki and Ikaros were able to detect the beasts before they got close to them. They immediately notified everyone and retreated in a different direction. After a few times, they were able to get through this place safely. At this time, Fei Fei is holding a map of the behemoth forest. She, Bingling, and Bishi are pointing at the map. Once they have confirmed the direction, they will lead the group. From time to time, they will be frowning. It looks like they are having a headache. The deeper they go into the behemoth forest, the more they don't dare to enter. This caused the map to leak out. The outer regions of the behemoth forest are the most detailed, while the inner regions are a little rough. As for the center region, there is nothing at all. The map in Fei Fei's hand was taken by Lei Wang from the elders of the Board of Governors. It is said that the map was left behind by their ancestors. Similarly, even though they have the map, it's not detailed enough. That's why Fei Fei needs to discuss with Bingling and Bishi. It can be said that the group spent most of their time in the center region of the behemoth forest trying to figure out the way. As Fei Fei and the rest led the way, Fei Fei finally let out a sigh of relief and smiled. All right. The center region of the behemoth forest is right in front of us. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. They are now at the center region of the behemoth forest. That means the Beast King is there as well. Wu Yan and the rest walked towards Fei Fei. They looked at the map and confirmed that the center region of the behemoth forest is right in front of them. They looked at each other and took a few steps forward. Everyone was shocked when they saw what they saw. This. Bingling took a step back and said with a face full of shock. How is this possible? No way. Bishi's breathing quickened as he lowered his head in despair. How are we supposed to carry out the mission like this? It's impossible. Fei Fei and Sylph looked at each other. They suppressed the trembling in their hearts and kept quiet. Yen, Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki and the rest looked at Wu Yan. They asked hesitantly. What should we do? What should we do? Wu Yan bitterly laughed. He stared straight ahead with his wine-red eyes. There's an open space in front of them. It's about 500 meters in radius. It's wide and spacious. The surrounding trees form a circle around the open space like stars surrounding the moon. At the center of the open space is a fortress made of bones. The entire skeletal fortress was about 100 meters tall, occupying almost half of the open space. There was a suffocating feeling coming from it, as if it was a ferocious beast with its mouth wide open, waiting for its prey to enter. Everyone who saw it couldn't help but feel shocked. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the dozen or so demonic beasts at the entrance of the fortress. A dozen or so rank 9 demonic beasts. It's these dozen or so demonic beasts that caused everyone's expression to change to such an extent. Under everyone's attentive gazes, those magical beasts of the 9th rank walked back and forth in front of the skeletal fort's entrance. They were like patrolling guards, doing their best to protect the fort's safety. The aura emitted from these magical beasts was much stronger than the long-handed ape king, and even the magical beasts of the 9th rank that the group of people had almost encountered before. Looking at this unimaginable scene, the group of people looked at each other and lowered their heads at the same time. Chapter 580. The skeletal fortress was shaped like a cave. It was circular in shape. From top to bottom, from back to front, the size of the fortress gradually decreased. At the bottom of the fortress, there was only a 5-meter-tall entrance. Looking in from the outside, one could vaguely see a little shadow moving in the dark interior. In front of the skeletal fortress, there were 13 different types of magical beasts. Among them, 5 of them were constantly walking around, their heads swaying left and right. It could be seen that they were constantly paying attention to their surroundings. On the left and right sides, there were also 3 magical beasts guarding their own territory. From time to time, they would walk around a few times. The remaining 2 were directly lying down at the entrance of the skeletal fortress. Their eyes were half closed, and they were lazily staying there. Fei and the rest might not be able to see the mysteries behind this formation, but Wu Yan's group with the system's perception can clearly see that the demonic beasts are divided according to their strength. The 5 patrolling demonic beasts are between level 86 and level 86. On the left and right sides, there's a total of 6 demonic beasts guarding the fortress. 3 of them are level 87 and 3 of them are level 88. As for the 2 demonic beasts lying down at the entrance, they're level 89. The closest to demigod rank. With such a formation, even Lei Wang wouldn't dare to act rashly if he personally brought all the members of the council here, let alone Wu Yan's group of 14. One side has 14 demonic beasts while the other side has 13. But in terms of strength, the difference is like heaven and earth. 3 peak rank 7, 9 rank 8, and 2 rank 9. Against 14 rank 9 demonic beasts, there's no need to say who's going to win and who's going to lose. What's more, the other side is at the peak of rank 9. On the other hand, even if Flanderchan's strength can't be measured by normal standards, there's no way she can fight against so many rank 9 demonic beasts. Plus, Ikaros just recently entered rank 9. Along the way, at the final juncture, Wu Yan's group finally encountered a situation that's giving them a headache. Yen, what do you think we should do? Even the usually smart Shokuhu Misaki doesn't know what to do at this moment. She could only look at Wu Yan. Everyone else also looked at Wu Yan. After carefully examining the skeletal fortress and the demonic beasts, Wu Yan frowned. Those demonic beasts, why are they gathering there? It was as if his words had woken everyone up from a dream. His words caused everyone to subconsciously want to deal with those magical beasts to freeze, and they changed the topic to the real crux of the matter. That's right. Mikoto was hiding behind a tree, her head was furiously scratching the ground. A bunch of rank 9 demonic beasts gathering in one place and they look like they're guarding something. You mean? Chuju looked at Mikoto then at Wu Yan. Those demonic beasts, they're protecting the Beast King? That should be it. Shokuhu Misaki's eyes lit up. Lei Wang once said that the demonic beasts in the Behemoth Forest are united against outsiders because they want to protect the Beast King that's in its weakened state. Now, all of these demonic beasts are gathered together and they look like they're guarding something. The only thing that could make them do this is the Beast King. In other words. Fei gritted her teeth. There really is a new Beast King in the Behemoth Forest. Based on what we've observed so far. Wu Yan raised his head and looked at everyone. There's a very high possibility. Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi's expressions darkened when they heard Wu Yan's words. Lei Wang once said that the Beast King has the ability to command all demonic beasts. It also has the intelligence of a human. Once a new Beast King is born, the people of the Spalier world will no longer be able to obtain resources from the behemoth forest. The giant beast's forest is of utmost importance to the people of Silveria. Without this precious land where resources can be harvested freely, the impact would be huge enough to spread across the entire world. That's why the Board of Governors placed so much importance on this demonic beast anomaly and sent them here to investigate. Now, there's a high possibility that the birth of a new Beast King is real. This is something Fei Fei and the others don't want to hear. Unlike Wu Yan and the others who lived in the Spalier world for less than half a year, Fei Fei and the others don't want to see the birth of a new Beast King. It's no different from a disaster. No. Fei Fei raised her head. If I don't see the Beast King with my own eyes, I won't be so sure. What? Wu Yan, Chuju, and the others were shocked. Wu Yan walked up to Fei Fei. Fei Fei, do you want to enter the skeletal fortress? That's right. Fei Fei ignored Wu Yan and the others and said firmly. Our mission this time is to investigate. If we don't see the Beast King with our own eyes, we'll only draw unnecessary consequences. Do you know what you're talking about? Chuju grabbed Fei Fei's hand. Did you see what's inside? There are 13 top-tier Tier 9 demonic beasts. You're only a peak Tier 7, do you think you can enter? No matter what, I have to try. Fei Fei shook her head with a bitter smile. She knows Chuju and the others are trying to persuade her out of concern. However, Chuju and the others don't understand how important this is to her. Fei Fei. Mikoto clenched her fist. She turned to Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi. You guys should persuade her. No. Sylph shook her head. I agree with her, you. Mikoto pointed at Sylph in disbelief. Are you crazy? Bingling and Bishi stepped forward and said in unison. We agree as well. You. Mikoto was on the verge of losing her mind when she saw how determined Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi were. She thought she was crazy enough, but she didn't expect there to be people crazier than her in this world. Wu Yan frowned and sighed. He's not a Spalier world resident, so he couldn't understand why Fei Fei and the others were so stubborn. However, if he put himself in their shoes, Wu Yan could understand why they were so stubborn. Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku were the same as Wu Yan. That's why they didn't say anything from the start. Are you sure about this? Wu Yan looked at the four of them and asked. Fei Fei and the others nodded in unison. As Fei Fei and the other three nodded their heads, the scene immediately fell into silence. A heavy atmosphere filled the air around everyone present. Those who were in the middle of it could feel the inner thoughts of each other. After a while, Wu Yan broke the silence and sighed. I really don't know what to do with you guys. He looked at Chuju, Mikoto, and the others. The girls seemed to know what Wu Yan was thinking. They gave Wu Yan a look of support. Wu Yan smiled. It seems like I have no choice but to play along with you guys. It was the four girls' turn to be surprised. Fei Fei quickly said. Yan, are you going to play along with us? Nonsense. Wu Yan glared at her. There's no way we can succeed with just the four of you. Fei Fei and the others didn't get angry at being looked down upon. Instead, they smiled embarrassedly. Wu Yan shook his head and laughed. He waved his hand and a black cloak appeared in his hand. I didn't think there would be a day where I could use you. Chapter 581. This is, everyone's expression changed when they saw the ordinary-looking cloak. Hinajaku, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki were shocked. They seemed to recognize the cloak. The others were confused, except for Ikaros and Sylph who were expressionless. A cloak. Fei Fei looked at the cloak in Wu Yan's hand curiously. She knew that if Wu Yan took out a cloak like this, it might be able to help them enter the skeletal fortress. But how was he going to do it? Little Yen, you want to. Shokuho Misaki rubbed her chin. She had a pretty good idea of what Wu Yen is planning to do. Anyone who knows what the cloak is capable of doing would be able to guess his intentions. That's right. This cloak is the cloak that hasn't appeared in public for a long time, the cloak that Wu Yen kept in his collection. Yen, you want to use this cloak to sneak in? Chuju looked at Wu Yen in surprise. She frowned. I don't think that'll work. Did you forget what happened when we used it in the treasure trove? Wu Yen, Chuju, Mikoto, and Ikaros used the cloak to hide their tracks in the treasure trove. However, they were discovered by the Spider Queen in the end. If the Spider Queen didn't fall into the trap of the auction house, they would have been forced to use a return scroll to escape. They wouldn't have been able to obtain the 3 rings. The Spider Queen's level is around the level of a Tier 9 monster. It should have noticed Wu Yan's group using the cloak. Now, there are 13 demonic beasts in front of them. Each of them is much stronger than the Spider Queen. If the Spider Queen can detect them, there's no reason these stronger demonic beasts can't detect them. Wu Yan understood what Chuju meant. It's too risky to rely on the cloak alone. Wu Yan took out a dozen strange stones and showed them to the girls. I plan to use the cloak and these aura-concealing stones to hide from the demonic beast senses. Aura-concealing stones? Everyone gathered around. Shokuho Misaki picked up one of the aura-concealing stones and examined it. What kind of stone is this? Simply put, it's a stone that lowers a person's sense of presence. Wu Yan took the aura-concealing stone and put it on himself. In an instant, Wu Yan's aura decreased exponentially until it became completely still. Fei Fei and the others were shocked. As powerful cultivators, Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi's senses aren't weak. Generally speaking, as long as there isn't a huge gap in strength between them and the other party, they will be able to sense the presence of the other party within a certain distance. But now, Wu Yan was standing right in front of them, but they couldn't sense him at all. If they closed their eyes, they wouldn't even know that there was a living person standing right in front of them. Fei Fei and the others felt a chill run down their spines. If this is the effect of the aura-concealing stone, then it's truly terrifying. If this stone were to fall into the hands of an assassin, then it would be a godly item. Seeing the shocked expressions on the faces of Fei Fei and the others, Wu Yan smiled proudly and placed the aura-concealing stone and cloak of concealment in front of them. With these aura-concealing stone and cloak of concealment, it shouldn't be a problem for us to sneak into the skeletal fortress right under their noses. Concealment. Fei Fei and the others were shocked. You're saying that cloak of concealment can help us become invisible? Facing the four's reaction, Wu Yan's expression was casual as he nodded. Fei Fei and the others exchanged glances with each other. They stared at the cloak and aura-concealing stone. Their eyes flashed. It's hard to tell what they're thinking. Chuju and the others looked at the 2 items with great interest. They've seen the existence of magical items in the system and their Wu Yan summons. They won't lose their composure when they see these items. If that's the case. Shokuho Misaki pondered. There's really a chance of success. The numerous young ladies also pondered for a moment. They felt that there was indeed a chance, and all of them nodded in succession. Fei Fei and the other 3 also recovered from their shock. No matter how miraculous the effect was, it was still a good thing to be able to achieve their goal. The 14 of them each took out an aura-concealing stone and put it on. They lowered their presence and went into the cloak of concealment under Wu Yan's command. The cloak of concealment disappeared and the 14 of them disappeared into the void. Fei Fei and the others gasped in amazement. Wu Yan shook his head and sighed. All right, don't make any noise. The cloak of concealment has a soundproofing effect, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Everyone nodded in unison. Flanderchan and Astria covered their mouths with their hands. They didn't want to make any noise. Inside the cloak, Wu Yan and Ko held onto the cloak and looked outside. Strangely, they can still feel the cloak in their hands, but inside the cloak, they can clearly see the scenery outside as if the cloak didn't exist at all. From this aspect, the system item does have a lot of miraculous uses. Listen up. Wu Yan lowered his voice. It's not hard to avoid the 5 patrolling demonic beasts. The hard part is the 2 peak tier 9 demonic beasts lying at the entrance. You guys better stick close to me, don't go in the wrong direction. Wu Yan didn't wait for a reply. He walked in front of the group and with his cloak on, he crossed the trees and entered the clearing. Glancing at the positions of the 13 demonic beasts, he glanced at the 5 demonic beasts that are pacing back and forth. Wu Yan walked towards a place with a smaller defensive perimeter. When 2 demonic beasts brushed past him, he slipped into the gap. Everyone held their breaths, suppressing their nervousness. They tiptoed and followed Wu Yan. After passing through the patrolling circle of the 5 Class 9 magical beasts, the group arrived at the left side. There, 3 Class 9 magical beasts were shaking their heads, their beast eyes staring at the area they were in charge of as they vigilantly observed. However, they were completely unaware that over a dozen little ants were openly standing in front of them. Every time the 3 Tier 9 demonic beasts glanced at Wu Yan's group, Wu Yan and the others who were hidden in the cloak of concealment felt their scalps go numb. They couldn't help but close their eyes. The pressure they felt from their gazes was not small. Fortunately, even though the 3 Tier 9 demonic beasts were on high alert, they didn't discover any traces of Wu Yan's group. The 14 of them deliberately concealed their presence so that there wasn't even a single footprint on the ground. Under Wu Yan's lead, the group passed through the demonic beast's circle and arrived at the entrance of the skeletal fortress. At this point, the group finally felt how terrifying the 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts lying at the entrance were. The other party was merely lying there, but it gave everyone a kind of earth-shattering, fiendish feeling. The aura that filled the 2 of them was like a violent poison, causing the hearts of the group of people, who were observing from a close distance, to tighten. Some cold sweat dripped from their palms. Wu Yan exhaled and slowly led the group through the gap between the 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts. Almost as soon as Wu Yan's group stepped into the gap between the 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts, the 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts raised their huge heads. Everyone's hearts skipped a beat and they were rooted to the spot like statues. The 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts looked left and right. When they didn't find anything, they looked at each other and returned to their original positions. Wu Yan immediately stepped aside and passed through the gap between the 2 Tier 9 demonic beasts. He led the group into the skeletal fortress. Chapter 582. A gloomy and cold aura blew from within the skeletal fortress towards the 14 people standing at the entrance, causing them to feel a chill down their spines. Some of them even shuddered. However, most of them heaved a sigh of relief. Glancing at the 2 peak Tier 9 demonic beasts, Wu Yan took out an orb from his gate of Babylon and he shook it off before the rest of the party started talking to each other. Under everyone's gaze, the bead flew into the air and silently exploded. A faintly discernible stream of air spread out from the exploded bead and filled the entire sky. Immediately, everyone's eyes lit up and they were forced to close their eyes due to the sudden burst of light. Fei Fei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi's hearts skipped a beat. Their faces were filled with nervousness. The magic beasts outside would be able to sense the intense light. However, the 4 of them were soon surprised. It had already been some time since the strange light had appeared. However, those frightening rank 9 magical beasts did not seem to have discovered it. The 4 of them who were standing at the entrance did not sense anything that had run in. Could it be that the monsters didn't notice the light? Time slowly passed as the 4 of them felt uneasy. The light in the sky gradually dimmed. Not long after, the skeletal fortress returned to its original cold atmosphere. Phew. Wu Yan finally let out a sigh of relief. Under everyone's shocked gazes, he tore off his cloak. Looks like everything went well, Yan. Fei Fei's jaw dropped. She glanced at the 2 monsters behind her and asked carefully. Aren't you afraid of being discovered? Are you? If we were to be discovered, we would have been discovered a long time ago from this distance. Shokuhu Misaki said calmly as she tidied up her messy hair. The bead that exploded just now should be able to keep us safe here, right? Wu Yan smiled bitterly when he heard Shokuhu Misaki's words. Actually, I don't mind if you're a little dumb, that bead. Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi reflexively looked up. All they could see were some eerie skeletons. Other than that, there's nothing else. Don't worry. Wu Yan shrugged. Because it's too troublesome to explain, I won't explain it. In short, no matter what we do in this skeletal fortress, as long as it doesn't collapse, then the magical beasts outside won't be able to sense what's happening inside. Fei Fei blinked. She looked at the confident Wu Yan and then at Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others. She shook her head and laughed when she saw how confident they were. I'm getting more and more curious. Where did you guys get these magical items from? You like them? I can give you some as a gift. Wu Yan said nonchalantly. Fei Fei's expression froze. She was speechless. How can he give away such magical items just like that? They're obviously precious. Fei Fei thought Wu Yan was teasing her. She didn't know that Wu Yan was telling the truth. These items aren't worth much. No, they're only worth a few item points. After calming down, everyone began to pay attention to the environment inside. In the gloomy scene, the light was extremely dim. People could barely see their surroundings from 5 to 10 meters away. All around them were walls made of bones, mixed with some mud, giving people the feeling that they were in the chest of some magical beast. The surrounding temperature was a bit cold, and the whole atmosphere was gloomy. In front of them, there was some black air current, like a poisonous miasma, flowing in the entire skeleton fortress. At this time, everyone suddenly realized that there was also this kind of air current around them, but it didn't seem to be dangerous. Looking ahead, Wu Yan turned to look at Fei Fei and the other three. What do you think? Do you want to go in? Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi lowered their heads. Then, they nodded resolutely. Wu Yan and the other girls couldn't do anything about it. Since you've decided, let's go. Wu Yan said to Fei Fei and the others. Thank you. Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi said softly. They were deeply grateful. Without Wu Yan, the chances of them entering the skeletal fortress were pitifully small. They were grateful that Wu Yan still supported them. After all, other than Fei Fei, the other three weren't close to Wu Yan. If you really want to thank me, treat me to a big meal when we get back. Wu Yan rolled his eyes at the four of them. He raised his cloak and covered everyone with it. They didn't know what kind of treatment awaited them ahead. Perhaps the Beast King is inside. It's better to be safe than sorry. The shape of the skeletal fortress was similar to that of a cave. It gradually became smaller from the inside to the outside. The deeper they went, the wider the surroundings became. After walking for a short while, the surrounding skeletal walls disappeared from everyone's sight. Instead, they were replaced by a winding path. Walking on the winding path is like walking into a maze. Those with a poor sense of direction would have lost their way long ago. There are broken bones everywhere. Some of them are scattered on the side of the road while others are buried deep underground. Only a small part of them can be seen and it's giving off a rotting stench. There was a gloomy atmosphere in the surroundings. Apart from the sound of everyone's footsteps, there was no other sound. The surroundings were deathly silent. Walking here with one's head lowered gave one the feeling that it would not be surprising if a rotten zombie jumped out. It was as gloomy as a haunted house. They don't know when, but the winding path suddenly straightened and led straight to the front. At the end of the path, there's a little light shining in front of them. It's telling them that they've almost reached the exit. Looking at the end of the path, the group of 14 involuntarily paused their footsteps. Then, they resumed their pace and walked forward. As the light became more and more dazzling, the end was getting closer and closer. At a certain moment, they finally passed through the path. However, the scene that appeared in front of them caused them to be stunned. A vast flat ground appeared in front of them. As usual, the surrounding walls are made of a mixture of bones and mud. The shape of the walls is circular and it forms a huge semicircle with the ground. Other than that, there's nothing here except for a bone chair. The thing that really stunned the group of 14 people is a person sitting on a bone chair with his eyes closed. It's like he's in a deep sleep. That's right, it's a person. A handsome man wearing animal skin clothes. He's holding his cheek with one hand and holding the handle of the bone chair with the other hand. His eyes are closed and he's taking a nap. When everyone came to their senses, confusion, fear, and disbelief appeared on their faces. It's a sign of their master's heart. A person? Feifei looked at the person on the stone chair in shock. Impossible. How can there be a person in the core of the behemoth forest? Before coming here, everyone had imagined that it could be a demigod rank magical beast, or it could be the same as the outside world, filled with rank 9 magical beasts. But they had never imagined that there would be a human inside. In the current behemoth forest, let alone humans, other than magical beasts and trees, there's no other life form that would wander around here. If they didn't have a mission, they wouldn't be willing to come to the behemoth forest where magical beasts work together to fight against enemies. But in the center of the behemoth forest, there's a person in the skeleton fortress under the protection of 13 peak 9th rank magical beasts. It's easy to imagine the bewilderment in everyone's hearts. Chapter 583. Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi couldn't believe what they saw. Wu Yan, Hinajaku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others had serious looks on their faces. They didn't notice that Wu Yan, Hinajaku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others had tense expressions. Because, in the eyes of the 10 people, the person who was resting on the throne of bones with his eyes closed had this message: Beast King, Level 90 Beast King. It's the person sitting on the throne. It's the Beast King. Everyone exchanged glances with Chuju, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki. They could see the complicated emotions in each other's eyes. It's obvious that the Beast King that Lei Wang and the council viewed as a huge threat has appeared in front of them in this form. None of them expected this to happen. However, it did not seem that difficult to understand. The Thunder King had once said that the Beast King possessed intelligence comparable to that of humans. The moment they advanced to the demigod level, the Beast King's body would undergo a metamorphosis in order to allow them to go further on the path of cultivation. What kind of body is more suitable for cultivation than a human? From a certain point of view, humans are the favored children of the world. Their lifespan is negligible compared to demonic beasts, but they can cultivate to the point where they surpass demonic beasts that have lived for hundreds or thousands of years in just a few decades. There's also no limit to how long a human can advance in rank. Demonic beasts need a long time to advance in rank. Their bloodline is also linked to them. Some demonic beasts with bad bloodlines will never be able to advance in rank no matter how long they live. Some demonic beasts with good bloodlines will be born as high-ranked demonic beasts if their parents are of high rank. However, this situation can only be maintained up to rank 9. Once they reach rank 9, their bloodline won't be able to support their advancement. That's why it's necessary for them to transform into a human. Also, in the novels and TV shows, powerful demonic beasts transforming into humans is a symbol. It's no surprise that the Beast King appeared in the form of a human. Of course, this is for Wu Yan and the others who live in a technological world. For Feifei and the others, the Beast King is a human. They didn't think of this possibility. The human in front of them is still a huge shock. Suddenly, the person on the bone throne, the Beast King, opened his eyes. A pair of ordinary black pupils shot towards the direction of the group of 14 people like arrows. Suddenly, the group of people felt a stinging pain in their eyes. It was as if they had been stabbed by the gaze of the Beast King. Their hearts were filled with shock. Wu Yan wanted to say something to Hinajaku and the others, but a deep and powerful voice came out of the Beast King's mouth. It entered everyone's ears. Since you're here, come out. Everyone's expression changed. Looking at the Beast King's eyes that were looking directly at them and the words that came out of his mouth, they understood that they had been discovered. Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi hesitated under the Beast King's gaze. They're considering whether the Beast King is telling the truth or not. Wu Yan's heart started to beat faster. He knows the identity of the Beast King. Wu Yan knows that he's been discovered. Wu Yan clenched his fists. He took 2 deep breaths to suppress the trembling in his heart. He didn't even notice that his hands were cold. His knuckles turned white from clenching. Wu Yan is excited that he is going to face a demigod in person. But at the same time, he also felt a sense of fear in front of someone he has never felt before. However, Wu Yan calmed himself down. Thinking about his trump card, he calmed himself down and slowly, he took off the cloak he's wearing. The 14 of them appeared out of thin air. Their figures gradually appeared in the Beast King's sight. The Beast King's eyes glowed with a strange light. He muttered to himself, has the human world developed to the point where they can produce such mystical things? Interesting. A calm voice reverberated in the empty space. Ming Ming's voice was extremely calm, but everyone felt as though their heads were exploding. An oppressive atmosphere enveloped the entire space, causing everyone's hearts to sink at the same time. Fei Fei and the other 3 who had yet to understand the other party's identity had a look of fear on their faces. Oni-chan. Flandre-chan clutched Wu Yan's clothes tightly. Her wine-red eyes were filled with a never-before-seen seriousness as she stared at the Beast King. Flandre-chan couldn't help but feel restless. Deep in her heart, there's a voice telling her that the person in front of her is very scary. So scary that Flandre-chan can't tolerate his existence anymore. Ikaros's expressionless face showed a hint of heaviness. She couldn't help but lean closer to Wu Yan. This way, not only will she be able to protect Wu Yan in time, she will also be able to dispel the chill in her heart. Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Astria, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku all subconsciously moved closer to Wu Yan. One can only imagine how much pressure the Beast King exerted on them. I'm curious. The Beast King glanced at everyone. Other than Flandre-chan and Ikaros, everyone lowered their heads. Wu Yan relied on his pride as a true ancestor to force himself to look at the Beast King from afar. However, his expression was a little unnatural. How did you manage to sneak into my castle without my subordinates noticing? The Beast King shifted his body and changed his posture. He didn't seem worried at all that the people in front of him would harm him. Subordinates. Fei Fei and the other 3 were stunned for a moment before realizing something. Their eyes widened. Wu Yan's heart sank to the bottom of his stomach, but on the surface, he sneered. Don't tell me you don't suspect that your subordinates were killed by us? Killed? The Beast King shook his head without hesitation. His tone was calm, he didn't hide his disdain for Wu Yan and the others. You're all so weak, there's no way you can hurt them, not even a strand of hair. You! Mikoto was enraged and took a step forward. Stop looking down on us. Do you think you're the Beast King? Do you think you're so confident in everything you do? What did you say? Mikoto's words didn't even get a response from the Beast King. Fei Fei and the other 3 were already shocked to the core. They turned their heads to look at the handsome man with a calm expression on his face. Him? The Beast King? Oh. The Beast King's expression finally changed a little. So you didn't come here without knowing anything, you came here specifically for me. Everyone's expression changed as the Beast King slowly stood up from the bone throne. Raising his foot, the Beast King took a step forward, causing a slight echo in the silent space. At the same time, everyone's hearts skipped a beat, and they reflexively took a step back. The Beast King took a step forward as if he didn't see anything. Suddenly, an aura as heavy as 1,000 kilograms rose from the Beast King's body. It was like a heavy mountain came crashing down, causing the space to tremble. Wu Yan and the others looked like they were hit by something. They groaned and bent over, their faces pale. Humans are still the same as before, so hostile towards the existence of the Beast King. The Beast King slowly walked towards the group, his aura was like fire invading them, forcing them to take a few steps back. We just want to protect ourselves, we just want to live a carefree life like humans, you don't even have the right to be free of your praise. The Beast King's cold gaze swept across the group. You're not even willing to give it to us? Under the Beast King's oppressive gaze, the group felt like they were struck by lightning. They could taste blood in their throats. Wu Yan clenched his fists as he glared at the Beast King. His blood boiled like boiling water as he glared at the Beast King. The Beast King's wine-red eyes turned golden, a powerful aura descended, causing the Beast King to frown. Chapter 584. His viscous, blood-like aura rose like a giant beast that had been freed from its shackles. The heavy aura of the Beast King was directly pushed apart by it, and a crack was forcibly squeezed out. The Beast King frowned, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. So weak, he's not even at the 9th level yet he can resist my aura. This person is interesting, however. When Wu Yan raised his head and revealed his golden eyes to the Beast King's brows furrowed again. He stared at Wu Yan and said, "You are not human." Wu Yan's golden eyes narrowed. He stared back at the Beast King with a sullen expression. He was a little annoyed that the Beast King saw through him so easily. Not human. Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi's expressions froze when they heard the news. When they saw that Wu Yan didn't refute it, their expressions changed drastically. Their reaction was much greater than when they heard that the person in front of them was the Beast King. Compared to a mythical Beast King, the fact that Wu Yan, who helped them a lot during their time together, isn't human shocked them even more. What kind of existence are you? The Beast King's expression was no longer as calm as before. He looked at Wu Yan with a gaze that seemed to be sizing him up. The Beast King could feel the aura coming from this person in front of him. It's not that this person's aura is stronger than his, nor is it that this person's strength is greater than his. It's a kind of subconscious obedience that a low-level demonic beast would feel when meeting a high-level demonic beast. It's an instinctive respect for a life form of a higher level than himself. A life form of a higher level than me? The Beast King thought about it carefully. He found it funny. He's the Beast King, other than the divine beast god that never appeared again. What other life form could possibly be higher than him? Even a god-level human wouldn't be able to surpass an ordinary magical beast in terms of life rating. At the end of the day, humans are nothing more than food for demonic beasts. The Beast King didn't know that the person standing in front of him is a primogenitor. According to the Beast King's theory, all life forms with blood are nothing more than food for him. The Beast King's eyes flashed coldly when he saw Wu Yan resisting his aura. The Beast King's aura reverberated in the air, causing Wu Yan to bend down again. His shoulders slumped heavily. Since you're not a human and you don't look like a demonic beast, why are you interfering in the affairs of humans and demonic beasts? The Beast King said. Unknown existence, if you leave now and I will not pursue the matter. Is. Wu Yan's he's he Wu Yan. The other party had used the attitude of an absolute expert to suppress him to such an extent, and yet, with just a few words, he said that he would not pursue the matter, and that was all? Wu Yan looked at Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others who were struggling under the Beast King's aura. He couldn't control his anger. His aura surged. Wu Yan twisted his body in midair as if he was trying to break free from something. He broke free from the Beast King's aura. Wu Yan laughed out loud to the Beast King's surprise. Beast King. Wu Yan's voice was as cold as ice. As a magical beast, at your level, you can be considered an existence that has lived for who knows how many years. You can actually speak in such a dignified manner after making things difficult for a few juniors. Perhaps you are the only one in the world who can do that. Make things difficult for the juniors? The Beast King laughed mockingly. Don't try to use the human world against me. In the eyes of us demonic beasts, the weak are prey to the strong. Strength is everything. If you don't have strength. The Beast King stared at Wu Yan. Then, you're nothing but food. Strength? Wu Yan narrowed his eyes at the Beast King. Do you think it's appropriate to talk about strength when you're in a weakened state? The Beast King laughed when he heard Wu Yan's words. His words made everyone tremble. Weakened state? That was before. Wu Yan's eyes narrowed. His expression changed. Could it be that you're all ready? That's right. The Beast King couldn't help but raise his voice. Vaguely, a beastly roar that made the heavens and earth tremble accompanied his voice and spread to the surroundings. The current me, regardless of rank or strength, is already a true Beast King. The demonic beasts, under my leadership, will become the true rulers of this world. Humans, if you want to treat us like prey, the Beast King's intimidating gaze swept across the pale-faced Fei Fei and the others. Dream on. The Beast King's hateful words landed on Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi. The four of them felt their insides twitching. Their hearts were filled with bitterness. Fei Fei and the others could already imagine the future humans trying to get resources from the behemoth forest. Against the united demonic beasts, humans trying to get resources from the behemoth forest is no different from snatching food from a tiger's mouth. Beast King. Fei Fei resisted the heavy pressure and took a step forward. She gritted her teeth and shouted. The Spalier world has 5 demigods. Do you think a single Beast King like you can fight the humans to the death? 5 demigods? The Beast King chuckled. You're right. I can't fight 5 demigods, but it's not hard for me to stay alive. As long as I'm alive, the demonic beasts will listen to my orders and resist the humans. Humans will not treat us demonic beasts as prey. Furthermore, the Beast King turned around. His words pierced Fei Fei's heart. Are you demigods really that united? Will you all work together? Fei Fei bit her lips so hard that it started to bleed. Seeing this, the Beast King shook his head and turned his head away in disdain. Humans are always so selfish. Even in the face of external enemies, you only care about yourself. How can you fight against my united demonic beasts? If we charge out of the behemoth forest, we might suffer a fatal blow. However, our goal has always been to protect ourselves. As long as we occupy the entire behemoth forest, that will be enough. Even if all the demigods come, they won't be able to touch me. The Beast King stopped looking at Fei Fei and turned to look at Wu Yan. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. It seems like you don't want to retreat. If that's the case, a monstrous killing intent enveloped everyone present. Fei Fei, Bingling, and Bishi, who had yet to break through to the 8th order, immediately gave up on resisting. Their eyes were filled with despair as they reached for their spatial items. They planned to use their trump cards to escape with their lives. Little Yen. Shokuhu Misaki yelled. Wu Yan understood what she meant. The Beast King is not someone they can take on head-on. Even if they work together, they wouldn't stand a chance against him. The only way out is to retreat. Everyone placed their hands on Wu Yan. Chiju and Mikoto grabbed Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi. Wu Yan took out a crystal scroll and crushed it. The return scroll shattered, but Wu Yan and the rest were shocked to see that the portal did not light up. What's going on? Everyone exclaimed in shock. The Beast King shook his head and looked at his surroundings. Even though I don't know what you just crushed, it's impossible for you to escape from here. Because... The Beast King's voice chilled everyone's hearts. But this place is inside my body. Chapter 585. Inside my body. Everyone's expression changed drastically on the spot. A bone-chilling feeling rose in the hearts of the 14 people, causing them to shudder. The Beast King chuckled and shook his head. You all know that my body will transform, but you don't know where my transformed body is. This is really, hearing the Beast King's words, everyone immediately understood. This skeleton fortress is the Beast King's original body. It's a body he abandoned due to his transformation. If the Beast King's body is this big, everyone raised their heads and looked around. Their faces were ashen. To them, this was the worst news they had ever heard. They stepped into the body of a demonic beast without knowing anything, and they can't even escape. Impossible. Wu Yan's face contorted. Even if this is your body, the return scroll won't lose its effect. Humph, the Beast King snorted. Although I don't know what effect that thing called Town Return Scroll has, in my body, without my permission, any means of escape are useless. It's useless to escape. Their bodies trembled. At this moment, everyone felt a sense of helplessness. Onii-chan. Flandre-chan tugged at Wu Yan's arm when she saw Wu Yan's sour expression. A hint of bloodthirst flashed through her eyes. Let Flandre-chan hit him. This is the first time Flandre-chan didn't use the word play when facing an enemy. Instead, she used the word beat. One can only imagine how strong the Beast King is in Flandre-chan's mind. Master. Ikaros and Astria looked at Wu Yan. Yen. Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku also looked at Wu Yan. Obviously, the girls are waiting for Wu Yan to make his decision. Looking around at the girls around him, he smiled bitterly, very bitterly. He thought he can go anywhere he wants with the help of the system item. Even if he's not strong enough, he should be able to stay alive. He didn't expect this to happen. I'm sorry. Wu Yan shook his head bitterly. He clenched his fists so hard that he could hear the sound of bones grinding. I was too arrogant. I underestimated everything. I relied too much on the system item. I'm afraid I'm going to implicate everyone I love because of my mistake. Hearing the word sorry, the girls all fell silent. Suddenly, Wu Yan tightened his grip. Flandre-chan grabbed Wu Yan's hand and said in a dazed tone. Onii-chan, why are you apologizing? Before Wu Yan could react, the other girls woke up from their stupor. They looked at each other and they grinned. Flandre-chan, you're so right. Hinajaku rubbed Flandre-chan's head and her gem-like eyes met Wu Yan's. She continued in a serious tone. Flandre-chan is right, why are you apologizing? Hinajaku, I. Wu Yan looked at her blankly, but before he could finish, Mikoto cut him off. Don't tell me you're apologizing because you made a mistake and implicated all of us. Mikoto looked at Wu Yan with a serious expression. Her tone had the same heroic spirit as before, but it also contained a hint of gentleness. I don't want to hear that kind of excuse. Don't forget, we share the same life. Mikoto. Wu Yan looked at the gentle Mikoto and was stunned. Shokuhu Misaki smiled and tilted her head. Her face was pale because of the Beast King's aura, but now, her face was flushed red and she looked relieved. This is the first time I agree with Misaka's point of view. Our lives have already merged with yours. Masaki-chan, Kinohada Sayai pursed her lips and tilted her head in disdain. Since we've overtaken your pirate ship, we've already overtaken you. Ai-chan, please don't give up so easily. Takitsubu Riku said softly to Wu Yan. If you give up too, then there's no hope left for us. Takitsubu, in the end. Frenda sighed and forced a smile. It's still not over yet, master. Ikaros and Astria looked at Wu Yan and said in unison. We will protect master. Frenda. Ikaros. Astria. Looking at the most important girls around him, he felt a surge of warmth in his heart. At this moment, Wu Yan suddenly felt like he's been living a happy life all this while. Onii-chan. Flandre-chan had a determined look on her face. Flan will protect Onii-chan too. Flan. Wu Yan couldn't help but smile. The pressure the Beast King exerted on him disappeared in an instant. His heart is filled with pride and warmth. That's right. He slowly turned around and looked at the Beast King in front of him. A ray of light flashed in his golden eyes. If we don't give it our all, we won't know the result. Hinajaku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Ikaros, Flandre-chan, Astria, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku looked at the Beast King in unison. They didn't say a word, but the determination in their eyes was enough to express their determination. Give it our all? Bing Ling and Bishi bitterly smiled and shook their heads. They didn't have much hope in Wu Yan and Ko's words. In fact, they even looked like they were in despair. Only Fei Fei and Sylph lowered their heads. They gripped their armaments tightly and walked behind Wu Yan. They told everyone their choice. Ha! Ha! Ha 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 ha! The Beast King, who had been watching coldly from the front, couldn't help but smile when he saw this scene. The smile grew wider and wider, and a faint chuckle escaped from within. Then, as the smile grew wider, so did his laughter. In the end, his thunderous laughter reverberated in this space. Very good. Very good. Very good. The Beast King laughed as he looked at everyone with his black eyes. I've long heard that humans can expand their strength according to the changes in their emotions. Today, let me witness whether this is true or not. In an instant, a fatal sense of danger rose in everyone's hearts, causing their bodies to tense up. At the same time, sharp rock spikes erupted from the walls in all directions, carrying a whistling sound that resounded through the sky as they attacked everyone present. Aegis, Absolute Defensive Circle. Activate. Aegis equals L, Area of Effect Shield. Activate. Icaros and Astrea immediately entered combat mode. They flapped their wings and appeared on both sides of the group. Two crystalline barriers rose up and enveloped the group. Boom! The rock spikes violently bombarded the two defensive barriers. Aegis, Absolute Defense Circle, and Aegis, Area-type Defensive Barrier. The two defensive barriers that could withstand the attack of a ninth-stage powerhouse did not even last for a second before they were bluntly shattered. Retreat. Wu Yan grabbed Shokuhu Misaki and Takitsubu Riki. He kicked Bing Ling and Bishi, who were still in a daze. Then, he retreated with the girls in tow. However, the rock spikes came from all directions. Even if Wu Yan and the girls retreated in time, the rock spikes would still come at them from behind. There was no way they could retreat. Wu Yan gritted his teeth and threw Shokuhu Misaki and Takitsubu Riku to the back. He rushed behind the girls and crashed into the rock spikes. Poochie. Following a few sharp piercing sounds, the rock spikes pierced into Wu Yan's body, riddling him full of holes. Wu Yan is already heavily injured in a single exchange of blows. Chapter 586. The rock spikes pierced through Wu Yan's body. Blood splattered into the air as the rock spikes pushed Wu Yan back. The impact created two deep trenches in the ground. Master! The girls gasped. Icaros and Astrea flew behind Wu Yan to catch him. However, the rock spikes pushed Icaros and Astrea, who were supporting Wu Yan's body, into the air as well. Oni-chan. Flandre-chan was furious. She reached out and grabbed at the rock spikes that pierced through Wu Yan's body. She destroyed the eyes on the rock spikes in an instant. Boom! The originally terrifying rock spikes trembled and paused for a moment before exploding into a sky full of rubble. Huh! The Beast King looked at Flandre-chan in surprise. What did she do? The rock spikes were an attack derived from the Beast King's transformed body. In other words, those rock spikes could also be considered as a part of the Beast King's massive body. There was a world of difference between them and normal rock spikes. The Beast King was confident that even a human demigod wouldn't be able to destroy them without much effort if they were connected to his rock spikes. But now, a part of his past body had exploded in an instant. With the eyesight of the Beast King, he could naturally tell that all of this was done by the little girl with strange crystal wings and a demon tail. However, he could not tell how she did it. With a deep frown, the Beast King glared at Flandre-chan and waved his hand. Instantly, the wall of bones and mud above everyone's heads began to ripple. Like the rock spikes from before, bone spikes shot down from above at an incredible speed. If one were to look closely, they would notice that these bone spikes were all aimed at Flandre-chan. Flandre-chan's wine-red eyes emitted a bloodthirsty red light. She curled her lips into a sinister smile. She soared into the sky and flew above everyone. Just like Wu Yan, she took the initiative to meet the Beast King's attack. Flan. Wu Yan, who has fully recovered with the support of his primogenitor physique, was shocked. He forced himself to calm down and waved his hand. 4 bottles of golden liquid emerged from the void and flew towards Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi. Quick! Drink it! Feifei and the other 3 were stunned. They instinctively caught the bottles, but they quickly regained their senses. Now is not the time to be in a daze. Other than Bingling and Bishi who hesitated, Feifei and Sylph quickly swallowed the potions. Bingling and Bishi quickly followed suit. Like a signal flare, after Feifei and the other 3 consumed the potions, Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Ikaros, Astria, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, Takitsubu Riku, and the others took out a bottle of the same potion and poured it into their mouths. The next moment, other than Wu Yan who didn't take the potion, everyone on the ground started glowing with an illusory light. Seeing this scene, the Beast King narrowed his eyes and began to think. As the most intelligent life form among the magic beasts, the Beast King had done his homework on the human world. He knew that humans would often use some potions with special effects to increase their strength. I wonder what kind of effects those potions have. The Beast King's mind raced, but he quickly gave up on the thought. No matter what the potions do, they won't be able to escape from this place. At most, they will be able to buy some time. Flanderchan met the bone spear head-on. Unlike Wu Yan, Flanderchan isn't going to use her body to block the bone spear head-on. Squinting her eyes, Flanderchan could see all kinds of black dots on the bone spike. Flanderchan reached out with both hands, and the black dots flew into her palms and were crushed by her hands. Bam 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 bam, just like the rock spikes from before, the bone spike stopped for a moment before exploding into fragments that filled the sky. The Beast King's expression became gloomy as it fell to the ground. Just like before, the Beast King still couldn't figure out how the other party did it. This made the Beast King, who had just become a demigod, feel slightly annoyed. His gaze towards Flanderchan became more and more dangerous. Ikaros. Frenda. Taking advantage of the Beast King's attention on Flanderchan, Wu Yan yelled at Ikaros and Frenda. Use missiles and bombs to attack the surrounding walls. Ikaros and Frenda understood Wu Yan's plan. If they continue fighting the Beast King here, their chances of winning are slim to none. The best thing to do is to retreat. However, this is the Beast King's body, no matter what they do, they won't be able to break free. The only way to do this is to destroy the Beast King's body. Ikaros flapped her luminous wings and cherry-colored light flashed out. Together with the mini-missiles Frenda casually tossed out, they landed on the surrounding walls. Bam bam bam, the intense firelight instantly overpowered the wall, and the violent bombardment caused the entire scene to tremble slightly. Some dust scattered from above, proving the destructive power of the 2 women. Everyone looked at the fiery wall with hopeful eyes. Even Wu Yan couldn't help but feel nervous. It's a pity that the Beast King didn't care about this at all, they didn't see it. When the flames dissipated, the walls were still intact. Everyone's hopes were crushed. Bingling and Baishi's faces were filled with despair. Trapped beasts will still fight. Truly trapped beasts will still fight. Bingling and Bishi have already made up their minds to die here. Seeing the 2 like this, Wu Yan knew they've lost all will to resist. He couldn't help but grit his teeth. He can't blame them. If it was anyone else, they would have lost all will to resist if they knew their opponent is a peak demigod. After all, they're only tier 7. There's no other way. Crimson spatial ripples appeared in Wu Yan's hand along with the Nyedan Shana. The crimson lotus flame burned brightly, illuminating everyone's faces. Wu Yan stared at the expressionless Beast King and said in a deep voice, "Get ready to fight." Hearing this, the girls forced themselves to focus and faced the Beast King. Takitsubu Riko retreated to the back and unleashed her LV5 ability to the maximum. She boosted everyone's ability to use their superpowers to the maximum. Takitsubu Riko can also use her ability to temporarily grant superpowers to those who don't have them, but for those who have never used their superpowers in a high-level battle like this, it will only add to the chaos. Therefore, the only thing Takitsubu Riko can do is to strengthen those who can use their superpowers. The Beast King looked at everyone in front of him who were tensing up. Suddenly, a sinister smile appeared on his face, causing everyone's heart to skip a beat. As if he thought of something, Wu Yan's expression changed. Before he could say anything, the ground they were standing on suddenly shook. Spikes shot out from the ground and pierced towards everyone. If the spikes can come out from the walls and ceiling, they can also come out from the ground. Due to their carelessness, other than Wu Yan who reacted in time and dodged the spikes, everyone else was pierced by the spikes. The Beast King shook his head, but his expression changed quickly. A look of surprise appeared on his face. Wu Yan was the only one who managed to dodge the attack. He didn't even bother to look at his comrade. Holding his flaming longsword, he flew through the air and charged at them. Chapter 587. The flames on the blade of the Jianghu Shana began to burn. At this moment, the effect of the Jianghu Shana was at its peak. The dense red lotus flame rose from the blade of the Jianghu Shana and formed a 1-meter-tall curtain of fire. The terrifying temperature caused the surrounding air to dry up. The red lotus flame fell down like a waterfall. The Beast King glanced indifferently at the fiery red curtain of fire and did not even move. A wall of bones suddenly sprang out from the ground in front of it. It twisted like a rice cake and covered the Beast King's head and front. Bang! The red lotus flame hit the bone wall. In an instant, the white bone wall was charred black. However, it didn't burn the bone wall down. Wu Yan's eyes turned cold. He waved the Jianghu Shana and the red lotus flame that was hitting the bone wall immediately turned around and went around the bone wall to burn the Beast King behind it. However, what greeted it was a small bone shield. Bang! A crisp cracking sound rang out. The flames of the red lotus were actually scattered into sparks under the sudden obstruction of the bone shield without any warning. It's not over yet. Wu Yan roared. He flew into the air and took a step forward. Crimson spatial ripples instantly covered the Beast King's body. In the next second, iron sand cannons extended from within and aimed at the Beast King. Beep! Lightning burst out from Wu Yan's body. Bluish-white replaced the fiery red of the red lotus flame and illuminated the entire area. Thick and solid electric current spread out from Wu Yan's body like a spider in a web. Wu Yan channeled all the electric current into the iron sand cannon's muzzle. Then, the iron sand cannon's muzzle started flashing with a bright light. The Beast King was expressionless as he looked around at the iron sand cannons that were glowing with blue and white light. Just as he was about to make a move, a few iron sand chains shot out from the crimson spatial ripples and wrapped around the Beast King's body, tying him up tightly. The Beast King was stunned for a moment. Extreme impact. Every word entered the ears of everyone present. Countless huge blue and white beams of light shot out from the iron sand cannons in all directions and descended upon the center of the battlefield in an instant. Boom! Accompanied by a loud boom, sparks of lightning flashed in the area that had been reduced to a target. The sparks spread in all directions, causing a series of explosions. If it wasn't for the fact that they were inside the Beast King's body, the ground would have already been shattered inch by inch. Wu Yan didn't show any joy as he looked at the area covered by the huge beam of light. Instead, he stared ahead with a very serious expression. Although the ultimate impact was extremely destructive, Wu Yan didn't believe that a demigod-rank Beast King would be harmed by such an attack. Just as Wu Yan expected, when the lightning dissipated, a square block made of bone walls appeared in front of him. Sparks of electricity flashed on the surface, causing Wu Yan's expression to darken. The bone walls fell back down and the Beast King walked out of them. He looked at Wu Yan with admiration in his eyes. He didn't seem to be injured at all. Not a bad attack. Even if it's a 9th-grade magical beast that specializes in defense, it wouldn't be able to remain unharmed under this attack. Too bad. The Beast King took a few steps forward and said calmly, "It's useless against me." Wu Yan's expression froze for a second before he smiled. "I never said that this attack was meant to harm you, The Beast King stopped in his tracks. At this moment, 3 slender figures suddenly flashed to the left, right, and back of the Beast King. 3 sharp swords pierced towards the Beast King with the momentum of a sharp knife. It's Astria, Chuju, and Feifei. What? Even the Beast King was shocked by this turn of events. Of course, it's not because of the terrifying attacks coming from 3 different directions. The Beast King was shocked because of Astria, Chuju, and Feifei. After all, he saw the 3 of them getting stabbed by his spikes with his own eyes. The Beast King recalled that Wu Yan was also stabbed by the rock spikes. Now, he's fully healed. Could it be that these humans also have the ability to recover from their wounds? Is it because of the potion? The Beast King's intelligence has undergone a complete metamorphosis. It's impossible to associate him with a demonic beast. The Beast King's intelligence is already higher than a normal human's to be able to figure out that it's the potion's fault so quickly. Unfortunately, the Beast King's guess is only half correct. The others are fine because of the potion, but Wu Yan isn't. The Beast King snapped back to reality and 3 bone spears shot out from the ground. With lightning speed, the spears pierced towards Astria, Hinajaku, and Feifei. Before the 3 of them could launch their attacks, they were pushed back by the bone spears. However, the Beast King's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. He clearly saw Astria, Hinajaku, and Feifei emitting an illusory glow when the 3 bone spears pierced their bodies. The Beast King finally understood that his attack had failed once again. As expected, Astria, Chuju, and Feifei stabilized themselves and surrounded the Beast King in a triangular formation. They didn't take any damage. Astria and Chuju raised their guard and stared at the Beast King. Feifei touched her own body in confusion. Although she had already tested the effects of the potion, she still felt that it was a little unbelievable. How could there be such a heaven-defying potion in this world? Who on earth refined it? The Beast King's expression darkened when he saw Chuju and the others. He quickly recovered, but Wu Yan and the others noticed it. The Beast King's expression turned cold. The bone spears formed again and attacked Astria, Hinajaku, and Feifei. But this time, there weren't only 3 bone spears, there were countless of them raining down from the sky. Ha! Astria, Hinajaku, and Feifei raised their swords and deflected all the bone spears. The force exerted by the bone spears was negated by the resplendent breath. Astria and Hinajaku didn't get hit by any of the bone spears. Feifei was different. Unlike Astria and Chuju, who were both tier 8, she was only at the peak of tier 7. She got hit by several bone spears in a matter of seconds. Feifei didn't want to admit defeat. She recalled how Wu Yan and the others helped her along the way. Feifei screamed in her mind. Am I really that useless? No. Yan and the others are fighting for everyone's survival. I won't admit defeat. Ha! Feifei raised her head. Her combat aura flared up and expanded by 100 times. It's 10 times stronger than when Feifei was at her peak. As if she had received help from the gods, Feifei violently swung her blade. Night Elf slashed through the air, knocking down all the bone spears that were attacking her. Do Qi exploded from her blade, making Feifei look like a valkyrie. Feifei was stunned when she sensed the condition of her body. Soon after, joy appeared on her face. Everyone present, including the Beast King, was stunned when they sensed the condition of Feifei's body. Feifei. She broke through. She broke through? She's a tier 8 fighter? Bing Ling and Bishi were stunned. They didn't know what to do. Feifei, who is on the same level as them, broke through at a time like this. Both of them were regretting their decision. Perhaps, if he went up and fought, he might be able to break through as well. Who knows? Bing Ling and Bishi raised their heads to look at the Beast King. The terrifying aura emanating from the Beast King's body dispelled their thoughts. Even if they knew that at this moment, they wouldn't be harmed again. Chapter 588. Feifei's breakthrough made everyone's morale soar. Their morale soared and their fighting spirit soared. The Beast King's brows are furrowed so hard that they're starting to hurt. It's just another tier 8, it's not a threat to him. However, the situation kept changing. He felt the same way Wu Yan felt when the return scroll lost its effect. Plans can't keep up with the changes. Let's end this meaningless battle as soon as possible. The Beast King's furrowed brows slowly relaxed, and his calm eyes swept across everyone present. Everyone felt a chill run down their spines, and their hearts also sank. Whoosh! The ground started shaking. Bing Ling and Bishi fell to the ground. Everyone else was thrown off balance. Astria, Chuju, and Feifei were too close to the Beast King. They were so close to the Beast King that they almost crashed into the wall. The Beast King stomped his foot. The ground went still for a moment. Then, the ground started shaking violently. It looked like the surface of the sea. Wave after wave, the terrain changed drastically. A strange sound came from the ground. It sounded like the sound of a pile driver. The sound was getting closer and closer to the crowd. At a certain moment, the crowd saw it. In less than a second, a handful of bone spikes as thick as a tree shot out crazily from the ground. They immediately filled more than half of the ground in their field of vision, causing the expressions of the group of 14 people to change drastically. A few figures flew up into the sky, avoiding the thick and solid bone spikes that repeatedly shot out. They barely brushed past the range of the bone spikes and floated in the air. As for those who couldn't fly, they were caught off guard and were pierced by the bone spikes in the most violent manner. When the bone spikes exploded, they were also pushed up into the sky. Not long after, the ground was filled with spikes as thick as trees. There wasn't a single gap between the spikes. Facing such a shocking scene, even the courageous women couldn't help but turn pale with fright, and their faces turned green. If it wasn't for the protection of resplendent breath, just this move alone would have killed those who couldn't fly. Although the Beast King's move didn't cause any damage, it successfully dampened everyone's morale, who had been high just a moment ago. The thought of being invincible surfaced in everyone's mind uncontrollably. Several people who were forcefully lifted into the air because they couldn't fly fell down one after another, crashing into those bone spikes. The sharp bone spikes made contact with their bodies at zero distance, and the slight chill on them caused cold sweat to form on their foreheads. They dared not imagine what would happen to them if they didn't have the resplendent breath. This won't work. The Beast King stood in the middle of the only patch of ground that didn't have spikes. He looked at the group of people who were still jumping around under his attack. His eyes flashed with hatred. He thought that a potion like this wouldn't last that long. It should have lost its effect by now. What kind of potion is that? It's so strong and it can last for so long. It's been 5 minutes. If the Beast King knew that the duration of the resplendent breath was 3 hours, what would he think? The Beast King was starting to feel a little impatient. As his mood changed, his surroundings started to vibrate. It was a shocking sight. Bing Ling, Bishi, and the others are struggling on the bone spikes. Wu Yan's golden eyes flashed with a brilliant light. Mei's huge beam of light once again descended, but this time, its target was not the Beast King, but the bone thorn forest below. Countless beams of light concentrated on a certain area, blasting open an open space. A group of people who couldn't fly landed there one after another, finally escaping from their predicament. Chuju, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohada Sayai, Frenda, Takitsubu Riku, and Feifei looked at each other and heaved a sigh of relief. They are the ones who can't fly. The feeling of sleeping on the spikes didn't feel good. Under the Beast King's attack, everyone was scattered. They couldn't form a united front anymore. Takitsubu. Kinohada Sayai glanced at Takitsubu Riku. Takitsubu Riku, who has been working with her for a long time, immediately understood what she meant. Kinohada Sayai grabbed Chuju and Feifei and said something to them. Then, the two of them disappeared. When they reappeared, they were in front of the Beast King. The Beast King was surprised again. At this time, Chuju, Kinohada Sayai, and Feifei made their move. A fist and 2 blades were thrown at the Beast King. Their normal attacks caused a huge shockwave and landed on the Beast King's body. Boom! A muffled sound rang out as a bone shield blocked a punch and two blade attacks. At this time, a series of sonic booms came from behind the Beast King. The Beast King was furious as he turned around to see countless cherry-colored missiles descending towards them. The Beast King's eyes flashed and the thick spikes around its body suddenly extended out a few bone ribbons and wrapped around the cherry-colored missiles. Boom boom boom, the cherry-colored missiles were all blocked, but this time, countless swollen dolls appeared in front of the Beast King. Boom, all of the inflated dolls exploded, bringing with them a fiery light. However, this fiery light flashed in the air. Bone spikes pushed the dolls into the air, causing a series of explosions to sound in the air. Suddenly, an orange beam shot out from behind the sea of fire. It scattered the sea of fire and blasted towards the Beast King. The Beast King, who was already a little impatient, became even more impatient. His face darkened. Seeing the railgun coming towards him, the Beast King no longer used Bonehead's ability. When the railgun was in front of him, the Beast King waved his hand and hit the railgun, sending it flying into the air. However, just as it swung its hand and knocked the railgun away, Chuju, Astria, Kinohada Sai, and Fei appeared around it and charged towards the Beast King from all directions. The Beast King's face turned dark. Being bitten by a bunch of ants that can't be killed, no matter how good of a temper he has, he couldn't stand it. This was how the Beast King felt. With a cold snort, a gust of wind burst out from his body. With the force of 1,000 caddies, he viciously smashed into the 4 girls. Hinajaku and the other 3 were instantly sent flying, their bodies shooting into the surrounding bone spur forest. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. A series of sonic booms came from the sky when Chuju and the others were sent flying. Numerous iron sand swords enveloped the Beast King's body and tore his beast skin armor to shreds. The Beast King narrowed his eyes and looked at Wu Yen, who was in the sky. A monstrous killing intent rose from his heart. As a demigod, he was already annoyed that he couldn't do anything to a tier 7 or 8 opponent. Now, Wu Yan's actions just happened to be in the Beast King's line of fire. Several thick bone ribbons shot out from under Wu Yan's body. They were so fast that Wu Yan didn't even notice them. The bone ribbons pierced through Wu Yan's body like a hot knife through butter. One of the bone ribbons even pierced through Wu Yan's head. Large amounts of blood dripped onto the bone ribbons. Wu Yan's mangled body was skewered by the bone ribbons. He hung on the bone ribbons like a piece of rotten meat. The Beast King was stunned. Large amounts of blood splattered in the air. The bright color of the blood told him that this was all real. Aren't they immortal? The Beast King froze on the spot. Master. Ikaros, who was closest to Wu Yan, saw the person most important to her turned into a pile of meat. Her crimson eyes rippled as she glared at the Beast King. She couldn't suppress her anger. Ikaros, who has always been calm and indifferent, is now boiling with rage. How dare you hurt Master? A bright light shone from Ikaros's chest. Chapter 589. In the darkness, a beam of light shot out from Ikaros' body. Ikaros. Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki and the rest screamed at the same time. All of them saw the light coming from Ikaros' chest. It's exactly the same as the one they saw last night when they noticed Ikaros' abnormality. However, the light this time couldn't be compared to the light from before. What's going on? Wu Yan, who recovered to full health, was also shocked by this sudden light. When he saw where the light came from, he was completely stunned. He didn't know what to do. Unlike Chuju and the rest, Wu Yan didn't know what's going on with Ikaros. The beast monarch turned to look at the light source in the air, and his eyes narrowed slightly as he murmured to himself with uncertainty. She's getting stronger. Bzzz. The light emitted from Ikaros's body suddenly trembled and drilled into her body. Under everyone's different expressions, Ikaros's eyes gradually turned a little dull. Her originally not much spirit turned into a pool of stagnant water. A mechanical voice as soft as a mosquito came out of Ikaros' mouth. System confirmed, everything is normal. Self-evolution program. Pandora. Activate. After that, a huge beam of light came down from the sky and landed on Ikaros. In a breath's time, Ikaros, who was in the middle of the beam, turned blurry and turned into a human figure. Ikaros. Wu Yan stared blankly at the disappearing Ikaros. He panicked and a deep sense of panic filled his heart. He couldn't help but feel anxious. What's going on? What the hell is going on? Wu Yan didn't care about the others. He screamed at the sky. He had no idea what's going on with Ikaros. He's never heard of it. This situation made Wu Yan very anxious. Ikaros. Wu Yan dashed towards the beam of light in an attempt to rescue Ikaros. But halfway there, Astria, who appeared out of nowhere, pulled him back. Master, don't go, Ikaros-senpai is fine. Unlike the panicking Wu Yan, Astria saw the change in Ikaros and her face was filled with excitement. Her eyes were filled with joy. Obviously, Astria knows what's going on with Ikaros' transformation. Astria, what's going on? Why is Ikaros? Wu Yan lost his composure. He grabbed Astria's hand nervously. He didn't react like this even when he encountered the Beast King. Master, don't worry. Astria cheered. Ikaros-senpai is evolving. Evolution? Wu Yan's anxious expression froze and turned into astonishment. Angeloid can evolve? Yeah. Astria nodded, but she didn't explain anything. Her face was red from excitement as she looked at the light projection in the sky. Wu Yan suppressed his worry and stared at the light projection in the sky. When the beam of light slowly receded into the humanoid light projection, pieces of light that looked like building blocks floated in the air and covered the light projection. Tipia Ikaros version 2. Activate. After the light projection formed a humanoid figure, the light dimmed and a brand new Ikaros appeared in front of everyone. Everyone was stunned by the sight of Ikaros floating in the air. They stared at her blankly for a long time before they realized what was going on. Starlight shimmered around Ikaros, a white feather coat that could only cover her breasts extended down from her chest like a pair of wings. She wore a pair of white shorts that went all the way down to her thighs. Two shoulder pads that looked like a shield floated in the air beside her shoulders. On the sides of her calves floated a pair of smaller armor as well. Her original pair of pink wings have turned into two pairs. Like a pair of jade-like hands caressing the surface of the water, ripples of color spread out in all directions. Ikaros' long pink hair fluttered in the wind. Barefooted, Ikaros stood in the air like a goddess descending upon the mortal realm. Her eyes are closed, waiting for someone to summon her. Character, Ikaros ability, Sky Queen mode, Pandora mode. Strength, S endurance, S dexterity, S spirit, A equipment, Artemis 2, permanent homing missile 2, asterisk, Aegis 2, absolute defense circle 2, Apollon, Apollo, Uranus system, asterisk, level, 80, Ikaros, version 2. Wu Yan, Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Astria, Kinohada Sai, Frenda, Takitsubu Riku, Feifei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi. Everyone's eyes were fixated on the beautiful angel. Even the Beast King's expression faltered when he saw Ikaros. Beautiful. Holy. In the depths of everyone's hearts, undisguised praise for these two people burst forth at the same time. She isn't human either. The Beast King said with an unreal tone. It's hard to tell if he meant it as a compliment or a negative. However, the Beast King's brows furrowed again. He actually had a worried expression on his face. He doesn't know what's going on with the girl, but the Beast King can feel that the situation is changing. The two aren't human and they aren't demonic beasts either. The invincible potion and the sudden change in the situation are causing the situation to spiral out of his control. The Beast King suddenly had a bad premonition when he saw the two-winged angel floating in the air with her eyes tightly shut. Demonic beasts have strong instincts. The Beast King may have gained sentience, but he didn't abandon his instincts. His instincts are telling him that he forgot something that might harm him. Driven by this instinct, the demigod Beast King began to panic. I can't let this continue. The Beast King's eyes flashed with a ferocious light. While everyone else is still intoxicated by Ikaros' beauty, he's going to attack. Just like before, the walls around her began to ripple and countless sharp bone spikes shot out from within, aiming at Ikaros with unparalleled ferocity. This woke everyone up from their stupor. Seeing the bone spikes coming at Ikaros, everyone who's had a taste of their own medicine couldn't help but shout. Watch out. However, Ikaros acted like she didn't notice anything. She just stood there motionless, waiting for the Beast King's attack to come. This caused everyone to panic until the bone spikes are about to hit her. Aegis 2, Absolute Defense Circle 2, Ikaros spoke in a flat tone. Sound waves rippled out and a circular Aegis 2, Absolute Defense Circle 2, appeared around Ikaros, wrapping her whole body in it. Bam bam bam, the bone spikes landed on the Aegis 2, Absolute Defense Circle 2. The powerful attacks caused the Aegis 2, Absolute Defense Circle 2, to tremble a little. It looks like it's going to break at any moment. But, trajectory correction, the protective shield suddenly flashed, and all the bone spikes on it turned around and attacked the Beast King within a breath's time. The Beast King's face changed. Chapter 590. Aegis 2, Absolute Defense Circle 2, had evolved to become a gold armament. It actually had the ability to defend from all angles and could even reflect attacks. Caught off guard, even the Beast King had to control the rebounding bone spikes and neutralize the rebounding force to avoid being injured by his own attack. With a wave of his hand, he retrieved all the bone spikes back into the wall with a gloomy face. His premonition seems to have come true. Ikaros acted like she didn't notice the Beast King's expression. She slowly opened her eyes. Compared to before, her crimson eyes are a lot more lively. They look like red wine that has been fermented for countless years. You can even see stars in them. Artemis 2, Permanent Rear-End Missile 2, instantly, an overwhelming amount of pink light shot out from the two pairs of pink wings. Countless pink light rays filled the entire sky, as if they had grown eyes. They spun in a circle in the air, and with the force of a tidal wave, the number of pink light rays was no less than the number of bone spikes from before, enveloping the Beast King. The Beast King's expression changed again. He clenched his fists when he saw the pink light rays filling his vision. The Beast King can tell from the momentum of the Artemis 2, Permanent Rear-End Missile 2, attack. It's not just the number, it's the same attack as before. Even the power has undergone a complete transformation. It's no longer a threat to him. The Beast King stomped his foot on the ground, and 4 bone walls drilled out from the ground around him, enveloping him within. Boom 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 boom, countless rays of light landed on the bone wall, resulting in a huge shockwave. The continuous bombardment soon covered the Beast Emperor's location. Flames and dust rose into the air, but they were unable to stop the cherry-red missiles. The missiles fired into the bone wall like soldiers who were not afraid of death. Everyone was stupefied. Looking at the pink light that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, and listening to the firecracker-like sounds, the group fell into a state of stupefaction. Ikaros-senpai after her evolution. Astria shuddered. So scary, Ikaros. Chiju, Mikoto, and the others were shocked. She's so strong. As for Fei Fei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi, they've lost their ability to speak. The others know a little about Ikaros, but the 4 of them don't. Ikaros' sudden transformation and strength left them dumbfounded. All they can do is stare blankly at the scene before their eyes. Wu Yen took a deep breath. His anxiety and fear disappeared and turned into relief. Just a while ago, Wu Yen got to know about Ikaros' changes from the system. The Pandora system, the evolutionary system designed by Daedalus, Ikaros, and Astria. Daedalus personally installed the Pandora system on the first generation of angeloids, Ikaros, Nymph, and Astria, to protect them strictly. In other words, it's a system that allows the angeloids to break through their emotional barriers and evolve when their emotions are pushed to the limit. Yesterday, after the death of the Ape King, Icaros evolved from Tier 8 to Tier 9. Due to Icaros' growth surpassing the limit set by Daedalus, Pandora's system showed signs of awakening. That's why Icaros' chest kept flashing with light. However, the Pandora system was originally designed to prevent Icaros and the others from being affected by their emotions. Without strong emotional stimulation, even though the system showed signs of awakening, it couldn't be activated. This led Icaros to believe that something was wrong with her body. Now that Wu Yan is being treated so cruelly by the Beast King, Icaros' emotions were ignited. Her emotions triggered the Pandora system, and the Pandora system that was already on the verge of awakening was activated. Icaros has also evolved and gained a new form, new strength, and new equipment. All gold-grade equipment. The current Icaros is a true Tier 9 fighter after her breakthrough. Due to the evolution of the Pandora system, she's several times stronger than the average Tier 9 fighter. Daedalus really does love her daughters. Wu Yan muttered as he looked at the goddess-like Icaros. Did it work? On the other hand, Hinajuku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others were paying close attention to the Beast King's condition. In midair, Icaros' eyes slowly regained their luster. When she regained her senses, she turned towards Wu Yan's direction. Only when she saw a perfectly fine Wu Yan did she slow down her anxiousness. Icaros was about to fly towards Wu Yan's direction when she suddenly stopped and turned around to look at the smoke below. Almost at the same time, bone arrows shot out from the center of the smoke, ripping holes in the smoke. The moment Icaros turned around, every single one of them landed on her body. The effect of resplendent breath reverberated in the air, causing the bone arrows to lose their effectiveness. However, Icaros was also sent crashing into the wall behind her. Even though she wasn't injured, her head was starting to feel a little dizzy. After the bone arrows hit Icaros, they exploded and turned into tens of thousands of smaller bone arrows. Wu Yan and the others who didn't have time to react were sent flying and slammed into the surrounding walls. Cough. Wu Yan, the only one who didn't use resplendent breath, coughed up a mouthful of blood due to the impact. His injuries healed in an instant, but the pain is still there. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, he bitterly smiled. He would rather endure this kind of pain than consume the resplendent breath. It's not that he's looking for trouble, but he wanted to remind himself not to rely too much on the system items. He didn't want to put the people around him in danger like today. It's not like he's going to die anyway, it's just a little more pain. Wu Yan didn't know that there's going to be a problem soon. The smoke-filled area slowly became clear and the Beast King's figure appeared. The cold expression on his face told everyone what he's feeling right now. Looking at the people around him who didn't get hurt, the Beast King's gaze turned colder. He then stared at Wu Yan. Since he couldn't hurt anyone else for the time being, then the only person who had been injured by his attack would naturally become his target. Humph. The Beast King snorted. The wall behind Wu Yan exploded and slammed into him, sending him flying. After that, a large number of bone arrows came from all directions and turned Wu Yan into a porcupine. Puchi. Large amounts of blood dripped from Wu Yan's body. Intense pain came from every part of his body. Wu Yan clenched his teeth and shouted. He tightened his muscles and forced the bone arrows out of his body. At this moment, a childish cheer resounded throughout the entire space as Wu Yan heaved a sigh of relief. It's done. At the same time, the Beast King on the ground was alarmed. His face changed. In the next moment, the Beast King's skin exploded. Bang! The skin on his body started to fester. After fighting for so long, the Beast King was finally injured. Chapter 591. At this time, the Beast King's appearance was no longer as extraordinary as before. His beast skin clothes were tattered, and his skin was cracked and festered. Wounds covered his entire body, and even his face had 2 open wounds. Blood slowly flowed out like a stream, and the Beast King had completely turned into a bloody man. Fei, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki looked at the bloodied Beast King in disbelief. Hinajaku, Mikoto, and Shokuhu Misaki seemed to have thought of something. They quickly looked towards the corner and saw a small figure floating in the air with both hands clenched. It's Flandre-chan. Flandre-chan. Chuju, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, and the others were overjoyed. Good job. Flandre-chan licked her lips, but she didn't look happy at all. Even Wu Yen, who was standing opposite Flandre-chan, had the same expression. There was even a hint of gloominess in his eyes. The ability to destroy eyes, an ability that could casually crush a level 9 long-arm ape king, was now used on a beast king. Unexpectedly, it only caused his skin to explode, but didn't completely crush him. Is a demigod really that invincible? Due to the difference in tiers, moving the eye on the Beast King's body was as difficult as ascending to the heavens, slower than a tortoise. In order to prepare for this attack, Flandre-chan forcefully suppressed her bloodlust and silently hid in a corner. Using the aura concealment stone to minimize her presence, she focused all her efforts on controlling the eye on the Beast King's body. All this time, she had been in hiding, all for the sake of a one-hit kill. But the result was that she couldn't kill the Beast King. The Beast King may look like he's in a terrible state, but Wu Yen, Flandre-chan, and Ikaros can sense that the Beast King's aura didn't weaken at all. Flandre-chan. Wu Yen looked at Flandre-chan with a bitter smile. I thought the Beast King's eyes were destroyed. Why didn't it explode? In order to coordinate with Flandre-chan, he didn't even use his ruby mode. He used his body to block the Beast King's attack. He pretended to be weak so that the Beast King wouldn't notice Flandre-chan. Who would have thought it would still fail? Flandre-chan blinked her eyes in disappointment. Big bro, Flandre-chan couldn't see all the eyes on the Beast King. I can only see a small portion of them, and I can only control a small portion. That's why I couldn't kill him. I'm sorry, big bro. Flandre-chan didn't know that her battle record would shock a lot of people to death if they were to hear about it. Since ancient times, there has never been a case of a demigod getting hurt by a tier 9 demigod, but not only did Flandre-chan manage to do so, she was the only one in the world with such a battle record. Can't see all the eyes. Wu Yen sighed. He felt a little dejected, but he also felt relieved. It's no wonder Flandre-chan was able to defeat someone in Gensokyo despite her heaven-defying abilities. It seems like Flandre-chan can't see all the eyes on the Beast King's body. Of course, without Gao Flan's strength, there's no way Flandre-chan's ability can be blocked. Flandre-chan's ability is still very scary. Master. Ikaros looked up and said. The target's vital signs are fluctuating. As soon as he finished speaking, the Beast King on the ground gently straightened his back. Because of his movements, a large amount of blood flowed out of his body and splattered onto the ground. Good. Very good. Very good. The Beast King raised his head and revealed his face to everyone, much to their surprise. The pair of ordinary black pupils had disappeared and were replaced by a pair of flat beastly eyes. The Beast King glanced at his cracked skin and shook his body as if he did not see it. He shook off all the blood stains on his body. His expression did not change, but an unusually strong pressure enveloped everyone's hearts. You've hurt me. The Beast King's face was expressionless. It's scary. You should be proud, BZZZ. With the Beast King as the center, a hazy yellow light suddenly lit up, instantly illuminating every corner of the battlefield. A hemispherical shield appeared from his body and quickly spread out in all directions, covering the entire space. The hemispherical barrier expanded at an extremely fast speed. When the edges of the hemispherical barrier reached their surroundings, Wu Yen and Ko quickly raised their hands to block. However, the hemispherical barrier was like a gust of wind. It didn't do any damage to the group. Instead, it enveloped them. In just a short while, the surroundings turned into an earthy yellow space. Before the group of people had time to observe, their bodies suddenly sank, as if they were being pressed down by a huge mountain. Wu Yen, Ikaros, Astria, Flanderchan, Mikoto, Sylph and the others who were flying in the air fell to the ground. Chuju, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohata Sayai, Frenda, Takitsubu Riku, Feifei, Bing Ling, Bishi and the others also fell to the ground. A terrifying gravitational force was exerted on everyone's body, causing them to be unable to lift their bodies or even raise their heads. All of this happened in only 2 to 3 seconds. When the group of people understood what had happened, they were already lying on the ground. Damn it! The veins on Wu Yan's forehead bulged. He tried his best to get up, but other than raising his head, he couldn't do anything else. Wu Yan, who has the body of a true ancestor and the strongest physique among them, is already in such a state. Shokuhu Misaki, who is physically weak, couldn't even move her eyelids. Her eyes were filled with pain. Oniai-chan. Flanderchan felt her body getting heavier and heavier. She felt like she was suffocating. Flanderchan is in so much pain, master. Ikaros and Astria struggled with all their might, but they couldn't move. Ikaros, who just evolved and got a huge boost in strength, was no exception. Yen. Hinajaku, Mikoto, Shokuhu Misaki, Kinohata Sayai, Frenda, and Takitsubu Riku could only let out a weak cry and nothing else. Feifei, Sylph, Bing Ling, and Bishi gave up on resisting. They closed their eyes as if they accepted their fate. Everyone. Wu Yan turned his head and looked at everyone. The Beast King's voice rang in his ears. As expected. The Beast King appeared in front of Wu Yan. His bloodied face was emotionless. He looked down at Wu Yan from the corner of his eyes. That potion will only take effect when you are injured. For an attack like this that doesn't have any killing power, the potion won't have any effect. The corners of the Beast King's mouth curled up. Under the stain of blood, he looked extremely sinister. You should be satisfied. You should know that this gravity space can even suck away the air. Ordinary people would have died long ago. Only you can safely stay here under the protection of that bottle of medicine. How miraculous. Even a vacuum can save your lives. Does the potion provide you with oxygen? The Beast King tilted his body to the side. No matter what, as a reward for injuring me, let me quietly watch as your potion loses its effect, bastard. Wu Yan raised his head and roared. Let them go. Fight me one-on-one if you have the guts. The Beast King sneered. Don't worry, I will save you for last. We will have plenty of time, but... Fight. 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 Wu Yan shuddered when he heard the Beast King's words. He couldn't help but feel a sense of despair. Now, he finally understood that the Beast King had been playing with them all along. He hadn't been serious at all. In all the previous battles, the Beast King had been playing around. Only now did he use a little bit of his true strength. This bit of strength is enough to make them despair. Chapter 592. Yen, Shokuhu Misaki tried her best to squeeze out a sentence. Don't worry. We won't die, now that Wu Yan has fused with them. As long as Wu Yan doesn't die, he can revive them by paying half of the summoning points he used to summon them. Wu Yan has the body of a true ancestor, he can't be killed. Even if he is imprisoned by the Beast King, he can wait until the right time to escape and revive the girls. That's pretty much what Shokuhu Misaki is trying to say. She didn't say it out loud, but she knew Wu Yan understood what she was trying to say. Yes. Yen. Chuju struggled to open her mouth. The most important thing is, the other girls didn't say anything, but they were probably thinking the same thing, including the most cowardly one, Frenda. Wu Yan bit his lips hard when he heard the girl's words. He felt so bad that he wanted to vomit blood. Am I really going to have to watch Chuju and the girls die? Then revive them? As for myself, I'm just struggling to live on. No. I'd rather die. I don't want them to die in front of me. Propping himself up on the ground, Wu Yan exerted so much force that his veins protruded out. The veins wriggled like earthworms, They looked like they would burst at any moment. One can only imagine how much strength their owner used. Wu Yan's actions were seen by the girls. They opened their mouths but no words came out. They couldn't bear to watch Wu Yan's desperate actions and they couldn't help but turn their heads away. How could a rational plan be compared to true feelings? If they were in Wu Yan's shoes, they would have to watch their loved ones die while they were the only ones who survived. Even if they knew there was hope, they would still feel pain. Even if the 10 of them survive, Feifei, Sylph, Bingling, and Bishi won't be so lucky. Their deaths would forever be a knot in everyone's heart. However, there's no other way. At this moment, everyone fell into a state of despair. Their eyes were glazed over, except for Sylph. She only felt a sense of grievance. She had always been the absolute genius and expert in the eyes of others. She had never thought that there would be a day when she would have to rely on others to fight for the hope of survival. As for herself, she had not been of any use at all. That's why Sylph felt aggrieved. It wasn't Sylph's fault. She was just a magus who needed to chant spells. What could she do in a chaotic battle like that? Powerful magic required chanting, and the more powerful it was, the longer the chanting would take. Unfortunately, the level of the battle was beyond her level, and the surrounding terrain was constantly changing, which disrupted her casting. In the end, she couldn't even cast a single spell. As for spells that don't require long chanting time, they were completely useless. As a result, Sylph, who wanted to participate in the battle, was the one with the least impact. If the opponent was a demigod, Sylph wouldn't have fallen to this state. Even if the opponent was a demigod, she would still be able to make a difference with her companions. The strange thing is, this is the Beast King's body. The terrain kept changing and Sylph, as a magus with a gold armament, was reduced to a mere spectator. Sylph felt aggrieved. She turned her icy blue eyes towards Wu Yan. She felt bitter in her heart. Perhaps, she will never have the chance to report his possession of the ring to her superiors. Time ticked away like days or years. Wu Yan tried to get up, fell down, got up again and fell down again. It's a sad and desolate place. The Beast King sat on his throne of bones and stared at everyone. To be more precise, he was staring at the glowing halos around them. With the passage of time, the halo protecting the 13 people who had taken the resplendent breath was slowly fading away. It was only a matter of time before it disappeared. The Beast King didn't care about any of this. Instead, he focused on Wu Yan, who kept trying to get up. His emotionless face made people feel like they were watching an ant trying to move food that was 10 times bigger than itself. Moreover, the food was placed there by him. As time passed, Wu Yan became more and more anxious. His expression became more and more distorted. He tried to get up more and more frequently, but all of his attempts were in vain. He tried everything he could think of, but all his abilities and trump cards were mercilessly destroyed one by one. The Gate of Babylon, which only needed to be activated with his mind, was destroyed by the gravity of this space. Every time a ripple appeared, it would be destroyed. Even the 3 ruby modes were not suitable for this situation. There was nothing he could do. Wu Yan was about to go crazy. His unwillingness was expressed through his actions. As time passed, his movements became bigger and bigger. The Beast King was confused. Where did he get so much energy from? The halos on everyone's bodies grew increasingly dim. 3 hours had passed. It was about time for them to reach their destination. As time passed, Wu Yan's madness and anger slowly subsided. Calm down, calm down. Only by calming down can he think of a way. Yes, a way, a way. There are only 5 minutes left until the resplendent breath expires. There must be a way, there must be a way. 4 minutes. Think about it, what else do I have? 3 minutes. Think about it, what else did I not consider? 2 minutes. Think about it. 1 minute. Think about it. His mind was spinning rapidly. He was moving with unprecedented agility. Deep in his mind, he started to browse through all the items in the system. Equipment. Ability. Summoning. Tools. Wu Yan has found a tool to resist gravity. The key is how to get rid of the Beast King. The Beast King is the most important part. In the 4 columns of the system, was there anything that he needed? Was there anything that he could use at this time that could help him get out of this situation? Suddenly, Wu Yan was stunned. System? Yes. Yes. It's the system. System. Quick. Give me a way to deal with the Beast King. It's obvious that Wu Yan is grasping at straws in a desperate situation. However, Wu Yan did not expect that he would turn to the right doctor this time. The voice that he is so familiar with, even a little annoying, rang in his mind. Wu Yan froze on the spot, his heart filled with ecstasy. User. According to the system's judgment, there are 536 ways to deal with the Beast King, 536 ways. F***CK, this is the omnipotent system. Quick. Give me the most effective way. Wu Yan shouted in his heart. User is advised to summon a character that can suppress the Beast King. Wu Yan cursed in his heart. He was so anxious that he was about to cry. The problem is that my summoning points are not enough to support the summoning of a character of that level. Perhaps the system understood the anxiety in Wu Yan's heart. After a moment of hesitation, the system prompt sounded. Beep. User is in a severe state of emergency. Activating system emergency measures. Beep. Strategic decision. User is given a free summoning opportunity. However, the summoned character is only allowed to exist for 10 minutes. It will return after 10 minutes. The user would have to complete a compulsory mission issued by the system as the price. Do you accept? Wu Yan is ecstatic, there's no reason to reject the summons. He silently accepted the summons and the list of summons appeared in his mind. He skimmed through it and in an instant, he locked onto a character. At this time, the light on everyone's body dissipated. On the throne of bones, the Beast King opened its eyes. Time is up. It's not over yet. Wu Yan shouted. The summoning in his mind was triggered. The next moment, the summoning light flashed. You're tuning into the Carefree Valley YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.